All right, and Ace, whenever you have a second, you can go in and double check if everything looks all right. Although, where's the chat? Oh, yeah, okay. Okay, good. The chat's there now, too. Okay, now let me post it out, actually. All right, and Ace, whenever double check if Ace, whenever you have a second. Where's the chat? Oh, yeah, okay. Chat's there. Okay, let me post it out. Ace, whenever.
Sounds good.
Okay, beautiful. So now, I'm pretty sure you still sound good, Ace, so you're good. Let's hear you for a bit, Ghost.
Test.
Sounds good to me. Let's hear you, West.
Testing. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
For the first time ever, you can actually back up from your mic a bit.
Oh, for real? Okay.
Are you still there, CJ? Can we hear you for a second?
Yeah. Hello. Greg, yes, CJ.
Yes, indeed. And then how
Keegan.
do I?
Are we
and then
clear?
We are indeed clear.
Okay.
And then how do I sound?
Cool.
And how do I sound, guys? Volume wise and clarity wise, do I sound all right?
Okay, your stuff just started. Started again.
Yeah, a little hum or a little noise in the background.
That sucks. Cocky. Well, I don't know what really changes that, but I will change one thing real quick.
It's gone again.
Yo, we might have to ignore it. I'm not here.
I think yeah.
Ghosts.
Okay. Yeah, it feels if that might like return or go away at any point, but you guys can let me know if it's unbearable.
Right.
Okay.
Vote.
So for all good, everybody look alive, just like Black Boy said. Okay. So I will start recording in 3. Dang, what do I usually say for the intro? 3, 2. All right. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back, guys, to the Be Warmed and Be Filled podcast. We're back. We got the family here, the brothers here, the crew here, and I do mean all of us. We got Ace.
What's up?
We got Wes.
Yo.
Welcome back, Wes. We got Ghost.
It's good.
We got myself, Quest Lando. But not only that, we have a special, literally special, it might be the first time guest as well. Man, somebody I consider a whole legend, IMO. Somebody that I knew since day one. You know when people say that day one stuff? This is literally day one. Man, a brother I respect, admire. I could go on all day, but I'm not trying to glaze anybody. Salute
Super nice.
to my main man, CJ. Put some respect on that C in that J.
Yeah, hello. 10-4 checking in. Thank you for that. The anticipation actually killed me, but okay, thank you, my buddy. You know,
Nah, we're just
much love. Much love, though. I appreciate. Thank you for inviting me out here. It's good to hear all of y'all.
we're just appreciative that you're here, that you've just been chilling with us as we got as things ready. You really got the whole experience.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, how we all feeling? How we all doing?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Decent.
Yeah, doing all
Feeling
right.
up and up. It's raining out here, but it's shoot. It's feeling good though. We feel everything's up.
Nice, nice. And actually, I guess before we get everything into everything, just to give like the audience a bit of insight about our special guest today. Real quick, I guess tell them like your age, where you're from, or where you originally, or where you are now, and what field you work in. Just the kind of brief stuff.
All right. This is CJ. I'm over here. I usually don't tell people my age, but 31 out here now. 90s baby still, so we're still cool. But um, yeah, I'm out, and it's always a loaded question when people ask me where you from. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but I reside out here in Virginia. But I've been Massachusetts, everywhere. So I'm all over the place. That's what I just tell everybody. I'm everywhere. But yeah, and uh, I don't know what else. I'm just connecting with my fams, my brothers out here. We're not all physically in front of each other, but it's good to link up, communicate with each other, catch up.
Absolutely. Yeah, we actually don't often actually do like IRL podcasts ourselves. We actually just did one
Hmm.
recently. Check that out if you are interested. But yeah, one day when we are in closer proximity, we're definitely gonna make that happen. And yeah, you'll definitely
Heck yeah,
always be invited to that.
sounds great.
But yes, so before we get into the podcast stuff, just some of the general podcast stuff. So in the description below, or even before the description, if you would prefer to just listen to shorter versions of the podcast, we do split them up and put them out. You can go on the channel and find that. Or if you do want to watch the whole thing, but maybe you just want to skip to a certain time frame or timestamp, that will be in the description below once we get everything completed and organized. And also in the description below, you can find our song selections of the week. Yes, if you're in the mood to find new records, new artists, maybe just find something new. Check out our playlist. We update it every time we do a podcast, or we put out a new playlist every time we do a podcast. And then, like I said, after everything's wrapped up and organized, you can also just find a list of all the songs that are on the playlist in the description below. But without further ado, speaking of new content, as we like to do on here, we like to do new content of the week. Any content outside of music that we consumed recently, like any show, any book, any movie, anything that you want to come in here and recommend. That's what we're here to promote and showcase. So who's got something?
Yeah, I got one. It's definitely not new. I told you this yesterday, Quest, but I recently purchased some games for the Nintendo Switch. Uh, Mostly indie games, and one of them is Hades. I think it came out in like around 2018.
Hmm.
It's a I would say like if anybody's familiar with like action RPGs like Diablo or Path of Exile or anything like that, it's similar to that style of gameplay where it's like top down and you're controlling your character that way. Um but it's a fast paced game, and like the leveling is much quicker. They call it a roguelike game, so basically you're progressing through different say chambers and fighting a group of enemies, and then at the end of each encounter you'll get a level up to your weapon or your different special abilities, and you play through to the final boss, and then basically like if you beat the final boss, it kind of starts over, and your character does progress slowly, but most of the items that level up your weapons or things like that, they're only specific to that specific encounter or that specific run. So like basically the goal is to keep doing runs and level up your overall character be able um to continue to beat the boss on higher difficulty. um so yeah, that I recommended a game similar to it before called Dead Cells. um, but yeah, I'm really liking this one. I'm not too far into it. I've beat the boss a few times now, but yeah, I really like these types of games. So I highly recommend anybody, especially if you're familiar with the roguelike genre. It's definitely a must play.
Nice, nice. And yeah, I don't think it's just for the Switch, uh,
Yeah, it's on
but yeah,
it's on
if
like
you do have a
everything.
Switch, you can pick it up there. Did you have anything else, Ace?
Nope, that was it.
Got you. What else we got?
I'll say.
I got something real quick. Oh, you can
Go
go
ahead.
ahead, Wes.
All right, yeah. I probably have a bunch of stuff that I'm forgetting since I've been away for a while, but I'll just drop a few or a couple. I've been dabbling in some music stuff, which kind of always doing, but um, I've had I've had two apps production for a while now, but the first is it's called Beat Surfing, and actually it's actually the bot an iPad. I'm a
Ain't that the
Android
game we used to play back in the day?
T guy. No. Oh, you mean Audio Surf? No.
Yo, that was the
Um,
game.
no, but this is it's actually made by producers named Hermit Lobby, and they have a pretty unique sound, like a wonky type sound, like a you know
Yeah, I remember Hermit.
whole like yeah the whole a whole like Russian beat scene type thing. I think they're Polish, but they're part of that whole Arab broadcast beat scene. And the app basically allows you to craft your own interface, let's say, to physically like swipe along your touch screen to play beats in a pretty unique way. So you basically draw in the shapes that you want to trigger different sounds, and it's like super flexible. Comes with a bunch of sounds, and of course you can upload your own. And I've had it for a little while. Haven't used it too much, but I've been getting into it recently. And then the other app is called Koala, and I like Koala almost as much as I like Ableton at this point. It's incredible, as far as the flexibility and the workflow. It's just like it's super slick, and it has a lot of features. You can like it has well, I won't necessarily get into the details, but you can choke different sounds. You can put them on a channel.
Yeah, just give us a TLDR while you want to check it out.
Yeah, it has
He
different
already did. He said
feedback.
comparing it to
Was it?
Ableton. I said comparing it to
Yeah,
Ableton.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
like that's pretty much enough.
Yeah, and so it's on mobile, so you can get it on your phone, you can get it on your tablet. It's on Android and iOS, and um yeah, it's really incredible. You can export to Ableton. So I did that once, and then took it into Ableton and did some more stuff to the track. But like you can also just like tap a pad, record a sound like directly using the mic. So you can just like go live sample stuff and then chop it up and do everything you need to do as far as like manipulating samples, sound, like creating sound and stuff like that. And then the performance is pretty good too. It lets you add effects over the track when you record it and stuff. So it's super slick, and uh anybody who's interested should grab it. And both of these are like they're fairly cheap, under like $15. And there's a free version of both of them. If you want to get the unlocked stuff, you can pay like I think less than 15. I don't know exactly, but
Nice. For all our producers and producer adjacent
Yeah,
listeners.
sounds compact with features.
Yeah, no, it's just great.
Bet. And then you said you had some stuff, Ghost?
Yeah, I watched that new Godzilla movie that I said I was gonna watch last week, Godzilla minus one, and it was very, very good. It helps that it was a good movie even without Godzilla, like the human element, which is one of the biggest points of issue that people have with Godzilla movies. But in this one, the characters were pretty compelling. If Godzilla wasn't in the movie, it would have been fine. But when he is in the movie, it gets vaulted to like top tier, like glued to the edge of your seat.
Wow.
And it's probably I think I mentioned last week, I've seen a good amount of Godzilla movies. Some then I wasn't necessarily planning on it because it was my family was into more than I was. But I've seen a lot of iterations of Godzilla and characterizations, and this one was definitely one of my favorite. I'm not going to get into the details of it because I think it's better if you experience it for yourself without knowing going in what it's like. But yeah, it was a very good movie, and the special effects were it had a budget of I think under 20 million, but the special effects were like literally looked like it could be 10 times that. Like it was fantastic. So I definitely recommend watching that movie.
One Piece needs to take some notes.
The live action one?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I definitely needed that recommendation because just based on the name alone, I would never
Right.
have been interested.
I
That's
guess
sweet. Go ahead.
they translated
Godzilla
it from
-1.
the Japanese name, and the reason they called it -1 is because it takes place after World War II, when Japan was at a state of zero because obviously bomb just dropped and all that, and then it basically gets worse, which is why they call it -1.
Oh,
Kind of weird.
Maybe,
I'm probably
maybe it got
translating.
lost in translation.
okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
it definitely did. Happens.
Nice. But yeah, I was saying, like, that's what we're here for. Whether you are interested in, like, finding a new video game, a new movie, maybe you're just looking for a new app to play around with, you know, if you're musically or artistically inclined, we got all that. We recommend all that here. But yeah. Dope. Good stuff. Okay. And if there's no other content recommendations, we can jump right into the topic if there's nothing else. Okay.
Yeah, I'm good to go.
So let me go
Go.
here. Let me go here first. If anyone peeped, I got a new stock image. Okay, so let me go to Discord. Pick this. And then hopefully our names probably will be out of order, but I can fix that. Yeah, names are out of order. Names out of order aside, we like to start off light with some of the first topics, and we got a nice little Twitter question of the week. Now, this is more so for all our traveling inclined listeners. You know, we've all traveled with groups before, and we've all, I'm assuming we all traveled by ourselves. So we all have varying opinions on, you know, travel culture, we'll just call it. So this person asks, at KT Bears X3. Okay, Twitter, let's hear your thoughts on this. If you and your friends plan a trip and it's 13 hours away, so that's a pretty hefty. It's like going across the. It's sounding even more than across the states. So it's not like a trip to. Isn't that more than a trip to France? What?
Yeah,
They're talking about the drive, though.
the drive.
Oh, the drive. Okay, my
Yeah,
bad.
no.
Okay, so it's 13 hours away, and they want to drive, even though it's that far. Are you wrong for wanting to fly and meet them there because driving is a waste of time, and we are only going for 3 days? So they're this is a very specific question that this person and their group are going. But to cut out some of the, you know, specificity of it, what's y'all general thoughts on traveling? If it's more convenient for you to fly, are you opposed? Are you for doing your own solo, getting there on your own solo, or do you more strongly believe in traveling with the group? I guess we'll give guest privilege. What do you think on this, CJ? Are you pro? You got to stick with the group, or you're getting there how you want to get there?
Honestly, it depends. I mean, is this family oriented, or is this close friends? Because
They
with
they pose it
close.
as they pose it as
Hmm.
friends, but yeah, you can you
Okay,
can you can assume that it's like close
friends then.
friends,
Okay,
close
okay,
friends.
okay. Okay, because there's a certain respect when it's family oriented, and then when you're with friends, it's you give leeway to each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, uh, I'm definitely more so. I would definitely go with for the whole experience. I would say group, team group travel plans. You could do solo, but I mean, what's the trip without the shared, you know, moments, shared tribulations, you know what I'm saying? Like, dang, ran out of gas. Dang, you jacked up again, man. Yeah, we're gonna remember this forever. Yeah,
Yep.
and the shared morale, like, I can't wait to get there. Like, um, versus, solo travel, I'll meet you there, you'll get there, and then everybody's trying to wait, it's a difference. It's definitely a difference, I don't think it's going to be as exciting, everybody flying and meeting there, if we're
Mhm.
talking in this general story versus, because I paused too because, like the person said, it's only 3 days, so I kind of get it. You driving for what 13 hours for a 3-day trip? I get it. It sucks because they're not staying that long.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, hey, bro, like like I said, the shared trials and tribulations, and hey, shoot, they don't want to spend all that money. Shoot, hey, let's go through hell together and get closer.
Got you. Okay, bet. And we haven't heard from you for a while, Wes, and you might even be the most traveled out of all of us. So I'm interested to know what you think. Would you rather take the shared trip with all of your homies, or if it's easier for you to get there or quicker, more convenient, are you more the solo type?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna take the trip together. And I think there might be a threshold because, like, if I do look at this story, 3 days, you know 13 hours there, 13 hours back, that's 26 hours. You drop in a day, like, like, that's not insignificant. But in general, I'll take a road trip, and yeah, let's take turns driving, whatever, do what we got to do,
Okay,
because that's part of the experience generally.
okay.
And plus,
Man,
plus, I mean, you saving most likely saving some money.
some of y'all same experience, and I don't want to get on anyone too quick, but sometimes them car rides be the driver's driving and the passenger sleeping. But
Everybody sleeping.
I'm gonna let it
You're
rock.
not wrong.
I'm gonna
You're
let it
not
rock.
wrong. You might have to. You
Um,
might have to incorporate, some stops. And yeah, somebody said, I just saw one of the comments. It says depends on where we're driving through and who all going. Because, like, that's true. Like, if you're driving through somewhere that's like dead, like in mad, just flat, and nothing to see, nothing to do, nowhere to stop really. Like, that's kind of whack. But at the same time, so there has to be a little bit of interest, maybe, and like you said, like, y'all gotta have some morale to
Camaraderie.
start with. Yeah, some camaraderie to
Yeah.
start with, or else it is pretty weak. And like I said, if it's a short trip and the time over, that's kind of wild.
got you. How about you, Ghost? A long drive. Are you going with the homies? Or are you taking that short flight or a more convenient flight by yourself?
In general, I lean towards taking the trip together, and I know she brings up the argument that it's less. Well, it might be in her mind less convenient to travel together due to the hours, but I don't know. I feel like if you're taking a flight separately, then you gotta say, okay, when are they gonna arrive? When's my flight gonna arrive? Are we traveling to a hotel together? And it just the logistics of it might end up being easier just to do it all at the same time and y'all driving in the same vehicle, blah blah blah, versus because they'd have to pick you up from the airport. It could turn to a whole thing. So that's one thing.
I don't want
Like,
to. I don't want to load onto the scenario. I want to do keep it general, but I think typically it would be like if you are flying, you would and you're staying with friends, you're probably getting an Airbnb. So in their case, they would get to the airport and they would just take an Uber to the Airbnb, and then they would just be there ahead of time when everybody else would be there chilling.
true. I guess. I mean, I'm thinking that again, like travel time and all that. If you're getting there 10 hours before they are, that's fine. But it's just a little weird.
And I guess I don't want to spend too much time on this, but if you were with the if you were with a group and somebody did take that option, would you look at them a little suspect for doing that?
Probably not. It depends on the circumstances. Like when we went to France, if we taken a flight, and this example doesn't really apply, but someone's taking like a ferry or some shit,
Taking a boat.
then then it'd be weird. It's more so.
I'm gonna start my trip a month out.
Yeah, the example doesn't work too well, but if it doesn't make sense for them to do it on their lonesome and they're just doing it for, then I would think like, do they got beef with someone or do they think someone stinks and they don't want to share the car with them? I don't know. But in general, I'd probably say no. That it wouldn't be weird to me if they had valid reasoning.
Got you.
Like I think the traveling together can improve the experience, as y'all were getting into, but if you're going on a road trip and the point of the road trip is to like have it be a road trip and you're seeing sights and going to different spots on the way, blah blah blah, then yeah, you kind of got to be there for that. But if it's just something specific that y'all going out to this different location for in the travel, like you're going to be sitting through hours of traffic or some shit, like driving through New York or Boston or something, I could maybe get it in that scenario, but I don't know.
Something else I thought of real quick too is like the destination. Like if somebody's like an enthusiast for something, town that you're going to or the city that you're going through is like super big on that thing, then I think an individual might want to spend more time at the destination. And if that's the reasoning, I think that could be another reason you might want to just there quickly, because some people are really like big on the spot, the destination that they're into.
And yeah, and they would probably you'd probably expect them to give like a disclaimer, like, "Hey, I want to be there. I want to spend a little extra time there, so I'm going to take this route or this option instead." Gotcha. And then last but not least, real quick, what about you, Ace? Are you doing the family drive, the family Johnson vacation trip, or are you getting there however you see fit, best see fit?
Nah, yeah, I'm with everybody else. I'll take the drive with everyone.
Nice.
I was thinking in terms of our planned Chicago trip.
Oh my god.
And like even like that was gonna be a short trip. And even for that, if we had decided we were gonna drive instead of fly and
You would've
eat
made it.
into okay.
I said you would have made it there.
Yeah, we would have made it. Wouldn't have had to cancel. But also, I mean, yeah, the drive would have been part of the experience of the trip as well. That's how I would have thought of it. So yeah, I definitely think pretty much regardless of the length of the trip, unless there's something specific I want to do on a day and we're not going to reach in time if we drive, like unless it's a situation like that, I think going with the goals is the way to go.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, we're definitely team or pro travel with your homies out here, but obviously Depending on, I think you brought up one of the best points. Depending on CJ, depending how close you are with the people, you might feel more or less inclined to stick it out with them.
Very true. Very true.
I do want to put that out there that I don't want to get crazy with the top, but that is a female who put that up there, and I mean, if we all been listening to the news as of recently,
Let's
there
not
was
get too crazy on the first one. I already see where you're going.
I
Let's
want to hear where
not.
this is going. Hold on. I don't know what's.
I'm just saying, yeah, you definitely have to have camaraderie. You know what I'm saying? Because this is a side topic, but not all females are really friends with each other. So you have scenarios on the news where they
Oh
go
Lord.
together as a group and come back with a
Oh
missing
my
person. You
god.
know what I'm saying?
I know what you're
So,
talking about now.
Oh man,
so,
we couldn't have start. That's supposed to be
so,
light-hearted.
hey, I couldn't let it escape when I started really looking at who posted it, and I seen it was a Katie complaining. So I was like, if Katie's complaining, how close are you with your friends? Because
Yeah, she got beef with someone. Like this doesn't.
yeah,
I have a less controversial answer here.
Like,
There's also the question of whether
get
people
canceled
like
on the first
flying.
topic, huh?
There's also the question of whether people like flying, and question I was talking about this a little bit, and flying can be quite annoying if you do it enough, and so I
yeah,
think
definitely.
at this point, I think Quest, you said you prefer a drive. I think I'm getting there too. If I can drive and it's not outrageous the length of time, and especially if we can swap drivers, I think driving is a little better in a way.
No, you're absolutely right. I do prefer driving, but conversely, if I was traveling with the group and they were flying, and I really wanted to drive, I would obviously suck it up and just fly with them as
Yeah,
well. Fair enough. Well, if anyone's wondering what the vibe of this podcast is going to be, the energy we're on. But I guess let's keep it pushing. We got a bunch of topics, and we got a bunch of people on, so we want to keep things in an order and pushing. I'll let it load up. But I believe this is another short one. And sorry, I should give you a disclaimer. So you're gonna have to pause it at the middle, because this is a good old fashioned would you rather question, but I need you to pause it at the right moment, because this guy gets into the breakdown of why. I just want to hear y'all response to the initial question. So I'm not gonna even give any more information. We can listen to the question, and I want to hear what y'all would say. I think we typically are congruent on a lot of things, but I wonder if anyone would differ. So play it.
All right, I'm gonna refresh it. I believe it's unmuted. While you mourning,
did a study, and the study went something like this. They asked the research subjects a simple question. The question they proposed was, you're looking for work, and you have two job offers. Okay? Job offer A is going to pay you $100,000 per year, but your coworkers will make $200,000 a year. Job offer B is going to pay you $50,000 a year in a company where your coworkers make $25,000 per year. The professors found that fully.
Jeez, you barely got.
It's all good. So
refresh the entire page.
Just to, I didn't mean to make it life or death. It's fine if you guys heard a little afterwards. But just to reiterate the question. So, and I'm pretty sure we've all heard a question or in philosophy similar to this in some capacity. But essentially, I'll even use the numbers he used again. Would you rather be working, option A, job in which you're earning $100K per year, but your coworkers, and you know for a fact, are earning $200K, or would you rather the option B, $50K job, but you know for a fact your coworkers, your peers, are earning $25K? Now again, I kind of think I already know what your answers are going to be, but you never know until you know. I'll go in reverse order. So, Ace, what option are you taking, A or B?
Option A.
So you're going 100K, but your coworkers are making 2. I guess briefly, why'd you pick that?
I guess the main reason is because that tells me there's probably room for me to get up to the 200K as probably more likely than.
I don't know if they
Yeah.
mention it in this, but you have to base off the assumption you'll never earn more.
Okay. Well then, yeah. Option A. What?
I guess it's by the laughter. Okay, so let me just cut to the chase. Would anybody go with B? Would anybody go with the 50K, but you know for a fact your coworkers are earning 25?
No.
No,
right. But the
but I
cricket
think
sound
it's kind
effect.
of too extreme. Like, if it was less extreme, I think like 75 versus 100. I think it would be more reasonable. But yeah,
Wait, what do you mean?
25. Well, first
On
of all,
which end? On which end?
25,000 for your coworkers. What do you do with 25,000?
That's
messed up.
So, Ghost, you're saying that if you were making 75 per se, but your coworkers were making what? 30,
well, if the scenarios were like, instead of it being 25 and 50 for the lower scenario, if it was like 50 and 75, I think that might be a little more reasonable. But like on the surface level, the answer is obviously going to take the more money. But I'm just thinking of like, what are the reasons that you're so below everyone else? Are they all working overtime and you're not? Like, I guess if we're assuming that hours are the same, workload is the
everything
same,
the same, they literally
all right, then yeah, it's obviously more money, but in my opinion, but it's I don't know. I think there's
well, let's see.
Someone has to take a hit for humanity here.
Let's hear what the brother had to say in the video then to kind of get a more like understanding of this.
Hold on. Okay.
All right, I'm gonna play it.
The professors found that fully 50% of Americans choose job B. It's actually at the heart of a lot of what's wrong in America because these people don't want to do better themselves. They actively want someone else to be doing worse than them. It's not about them making more money. It's about, well, that person makes more. They're concerned about what other people are making and not what they're making themselves. It's two.
So upon hearing this, because that really the that comes to mind. Upon hearing this, one, does anyone change their mind? I already know the answer to that. But 2, does hearing that make you? Do you understand that rationale of like some people look in terms of what other people are doing and not necessarily what they want or what they're doing? I guess I'll start with you again, Ace. Does that rationale at least make sense to you?
I don't think I can wrap my brain around this one. I don't understand it at all. It's such an obvious
behavior.
No, it's such an obvious choice to choose the more money that I don't understand. Yeah, I'm baffled. I'm truly baffled right now. I can't.
Crabs in a bucket. Never heard of that.
You know,
But it's not. I don't. Yeah, go ahead.
I think that people who said A, a lot of the people, and you know, we said A, but a lot of people who said A probably just said A because they were asked the question and they didn't want to seem selfish or not even selfish.
Nah.
I mean,
I feel like
but what do you think the logic? I mean, I guess he explained it, but why? Like,
So
how does that
play
trump more
devil's-
money?
I can play devil's advocate because personally,
I
I've
know.
never had
Yeah,
this
go ahead.
mindset. But if you were at a job where someone's earning double the money that you were, and y'all have the same responsibilities and all that,
Mhm.
you probably think I'm doing just as good or a better job than this person. And why are they getting paid double than me when they don't, in your mind, deserve it? And that
it would
is
eat people up.
Yeah,
It
that's
does.
really where that all stems from. And again, like
Yeah.
for me, it doesn't. I at my job, I know that I have coworkers that make more than me. When realistically, like given the workload and the quality of work that I do, I should probably be making more than
Let's
them.
not make this too.
However,
Let's not make this too personal now.
yeah, I mean, I'm just saying that is like
Carl.
I'm kind of in not this scenario, but if I was petty, then I could I could not hold my bosses hostage, but I say I know this person's making this much. I want to make at least that or more. But it's really if you can step back and look at it and just isolate it, what's better for yourself, then that's the mature thing and what people should do. But a lot of people do not operate like that. Like I said, like the crabs in a bucket mentality. It's people want to bring each other down for whatever reason, but that's how a lot of human nature and humanity works. Like it's how it is. And there's so many examples that you can get into, not even related to this. Just like if people do good, in
I
theory,
like to be optimistic.
yeah, like that's how people should think. But
Yeah.
a lot of times, you tell someone good about yourself, they might seem happy for you, but you're like, "Damn, why didn't this happen to me?" Like, and I think every single person is guilty of that to some extent, on a much lesser level than others. Like, you're lying if you say that you never saw a billionaire, but like, damn, they live in like this, they live in lavish, and I'm living like this, and I'm working like that's crossed everyone's mind at some point. But it's just if you dwell on it, and
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
You just move on.
Yeah, it really is the level to which you dwell.
I think for real, the number game is what really plays such a crazy part in it because the numbers is extreme difference, you know.
Oh yeah.
That's
Yeah,
so
they exaggerated it.
yeah. So option B, you sound like you sound like McScrooge or whatever.
sound
Basically, yeah, like
Sound pretty bad, yeah.
so.
But the fact
My
that
thing is, if you
50% still chose it too, like even
that's
when it's
crazy.
sounding that
That's
bad.
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like I think some people just chose A because they were like, okay, this is what people expect me to choose because it's the more rational choice. But
I'm
in their
looking at
heart,
like
they want the dynamic. They wanted the B dynamic, but they saw the numbers and they were like, nah, I'm gonna go A.
option A, you could still make the world go round. Option B, it's gonna be like a famine. Like option A, at least you might be making a little bit less money, but everyone's gonna eat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You might have to bite the bullet. You know what I'm saying? Like, dang, I'm not making as much, but you still could afford, your living standard. Like you can still save and do plenty with 100,000. While they have 200,000. It sucks, but that's the job world already. But the option B, that's crazy. You about to be the ruler of the land for no reason.
I wonder if maybe that's why people chose option B, because if you're looking at it like in this
It'll be
current
the king.
economy, you can't live off 25,000. But
Exactly.
if everyone made 25,000 except
Can't
for
live off
you,
25,000.
then maybe the cost of living is cut in half or cut in a quarter.
Nah,
nobody's
nobody's doing that.
Probably not.
Economics of the entire country.
I'm just trying to cut people a little slack.
No.
I think they said co-workers, so it really wouldn't be a scenario like this.
They should have scaled it up. They should have scaled it up.
Yeah,
And
like
probably
100,
made it a little
200.
closer. Yeah, to get a realistic. But I think the idea still stands though. Like even if it is 50%, or if you had changed the numbers and it was 75% to show the human nature in this situation, I think it would have. Moved in the same direction. But
did he say? Did he specify that it's Americans who answered this? He said Americans chose option B,
I don't know.
majority, or did he just say everybody?
Yeah, I don't think they specify location. They just did it. They just said a professor or professors did a study. So
because that's just super shallow. So
it's safe to assume this is in the States, but
yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, you did say this is what's wrong with America.
Oh yeah, he did say that. So yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, roughly
the parable of the penny. When they're promised a penny, and there's and somebody comes late. Somebody comes at the beginning of the day. They're promised a penny for their work. Then at the end of the day, There's somebody comes in the last hour of the day, and
Oh, the
they
literal
a
parable.
penny as well. Yeah, the parable.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
Bible.
yeah,
Mhm.
And
yeah.
of course, people who were working all day felt like they needed more than a penny. It was like, but you agreed to the penny. You're like, this is what you.
Mhm.
I've heard that same parable
Ah.
with
Mhm.
food. So yeah, like I said, I think it's a like a philosophical question that expands outside of more than just a dollar value. And I think the unfair part about this is, and even like with the small test that I did, we're trying to cut off the hearing that the explanation. I think if you're thinking about this in a rational way, or like having a dialogue how we're having, people will be more inclined to go with the A option, or the option that's going to give you more, even if you know other people's are making more. But it's
I
still
wish
it's like,
I
go
wish
ahead.
we had somebody on here that would have chose the B option just to just
Yeah, I think it's
to get their
it's.
input.
I don't think any of us could be lumped in with that, statistic as far as what he said. Like,
But that's what I'm saying. I think when you're looking at, like, if you're just asked this on a street by like a someone doing research, maybe then
hmm
you'll be more inclined to give. But I
yeah,
think as we're talking about it, like we're talking through it,
hmm
I don't. It would have been kind of strange if somebody did said B, in my opinion.
I mean, I feel like everybody had their answer pretty much immediate. I had my
hmm
answer right off the
you
bat.
definitely.
Fair enough.
I
Yeah.
think, yeah. I mean, I don't know. My mindset about money is, as far as opportunities come and money is, yeah, just take the more money. Like regardless of the situation, as long as it's not morally compromising, you go
hmm
for more money and you save, or you figure out how you can increase that in ethical ways. Like that's like the
hmm
baseline. If you tell me 100,000 and it seems reasonable, I don't need more scenario. Oh, and everybody else is making that don't
Yeah, yeah,
make sure. But I think, and it's just economically stupid to choose something
yeah,
else. I think
yeah.
they might have said, if they said 100,000 and everybody else is making 200,000, but then they said, or you make 120
hmm
and everybody else making 100. Yeah, you choose 120 just because it's the more money.
hmm
I got a
But
question for
it wouldn't
y'all.
necessarily
What,
mean because it's everybody else, but it would change the scenario. So I don't know.
hmm
Go ahead, Ghost, real quick.
what if
Make a
what
move on.
if it was same exact amount of money? You get 100,000 either way, but your
Oh,
coworkers
100
get
either
50
way.
versus 200.
Ah,
Then what would
this is a
y'all
good question. There it is.
Oh
There it
yeah,
is.
yeah, yeah. That's smart.
There's the
That's smart.
question.
That's
All right.
smart. That's smart.
And let's make it 20,000 difference. So let's say you get 100 either way, or in one case everybody else gets 80 and everybody else gets 120.
Fair
That's a
enough.
harder question to answer.
I think I still have my answer, but it's kind of
Go ahead, Ace. Or
not very inspirational.
what
I
comes to mind?
I probably choose to have other people make more because that probably means I have a little bit less responsibility. I mean,
Mm,
that's how my brain thinks, unless you're specifying that everybody has the same amount of responsibility and everything. It just feels like, well, you can't put as much
That's not. That's almost like a different.
Look,
That's almost like a different
I think
question.
I
I
feel
think
like the
you almost have
scenario.
to. I think you almost have to
Mhm.
assume that it's the same level of work and responsibilities, because then the
Mm.
question becomes: would you work less,
yeah, would you be more ambitious?
knowing other people are earning more, or would you work more knowing other people are earning less?
Gotcha. Yeah, that's a different question. Oh,
Yeah,
I
You
mean,
feel
then
less.
if
You
I'm
feel less bad then.
yeah, and then it just becomes like if we
Yeah.
separate that, it kind of becomes an altruistic thing where
yeah. Are
would
you
you
doing
rather
more?
other people make more money? Basically,
Yeah.
that's what the
Yeah.
question is.
No.
I'm gonna say
Then you can tell other people they got to suck it up. I'm making more money now.
nah, I was gonna go the opposite way. I was like, what, if I'm
I
gonna
mean,
make
if
the
you're only
same
making,
amount,
hmm
like if I'm gonna make the
if
same
you're only
amount in
making
either
20,000
scenario,
less, hmm
then yeah, why not have other people make more and they have more for themselves? Like it doesn't.
yeah,
What
you're
they're
less likely to
making
get
doesn't
less
affect me.
testimony.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
hmm
yeah.
it doesn't affect
hmm
you, and why do you even have the choice? But But I don't know. Like I'm trying to think of a strategic thing from a strategic standpoint, and it would bring in other questions like if you make it is like job security. One, if you're making more, maybe that means that they view you as a more of an asset, even if you're not doing more work and everything. But they realize they're paying more for you. That means for some
That's
reason they
that
want
could
some
be
more
that could
value.
go the opposite way
But
too.
yeah,
You
that's the other
making
thing I was
more,
gonna say. If you're
you be
making
the
more
first
and they
one to
got to
get
cut,
cut. Yep.
exactly. If they got to make cuts, they're looking at who's the highest impact, and it's
Yep.
you. So like, uh, yeah, I mean, it might be better to stay off under the radar and have everybody.
Exactly.
This is
Fair
not
enough.
necessary.
Let's not
Quest
be.
as the supposedly most wholesome person here, quote unquote.
I was about to say, what are you talking about? But yes, this is a fact. Yes, we have the data that supports that.
What's your decision?
Based off this new line question, yeah, I'll earn 100K and other people are earning more. Yeah,
Okay, all right. Backing up the title. All right.
but whichever way you side, I mean, it sounds if you listen to this guy, does seem to put people that would want to earn less, and even though other people are earning less, and like you're morally maybe wrong, but I still say it's just like I don't know. Maybe it just comes down to human nature and your perspective on things. I don't necessarily put a negative or positive connotation to these things.
Problem with America.
Yeah, exactly. Apparently, but if there's nothing else, we can move on to the next topic. Ah, yes. And speaking about America, so I would say we talk about a wide range of topics and stories on here, and we do. From history to science, technology, music, art, sports, fantasy, everything you can think of. Twitter scenarios. But we don't talk about politics on here. No offense to all the political podcasts. That's just not our niche. But when a politician does something interesting and or funny, such as this, I am curious to hear y'all thoughts on it. So, salute to how you doing, Locke. Salute to Jason Lee. Senator Markwayne Mullins attempts to fight Teamster president during a hearing. And it's quote unquote saying, "You want to do it right now?" So, let's watch the video for ourselves, and let's see what happened during this literal Senate hearing.
Because I sure remember working pretty hard and long hours. Pretends like he's self-made. What a clown. Fraud. Always has been, always will be. Quit the tough guy act in these Senate hearings. You know where to find me. Any place, anytime, cowboy. Sir, this is a time, this is a place. If you want to run your mouth, we can be two consenting adults. We can finish it here.
Okay, that's fine. That's perfect.
You want to do it now?
I'd love to do it right now.
Well, stand your butt up then.
You stand your butt up.
Oh, hold on.
Big
Oh,
guy.
stop it.
Is that your solution, every
Hold
poll?
it. No, sit down. Sit down.
Okay.
You know, you're a United States Senator. Sit down.
Active.
Oh, okay.
Sit down, please.
All right.
Can I respond? Mr.
Hold
Chairman?
it. Hold it. If
Hold
we
on.
can't, no,
This is
I have
what
the
he
mic.
said.
I'm sorry.
This is
Hold
what
it.
he said.
You'll have your time.
Okay.
Can I respond?
Oh, no, you can't.
Bernie.
This is a hearing.
Bernie Sanders out of nowhere.
Man, salute to old man Bernie. That brother's the better half of 106 years old, and he's still out there fighting the good fight. But yeah, just like it said, you have this senator. He seemed to pull out some type of what I'm assuming is the other senator or politician had made some remarks online, probably Twitter /X, because that's where everybody be chopping up and beefing, or maybe it's Facebook. Maybe his brother older, and he was, he had some Twitter fingers on him, and he was typing up some negative things about this person, the senator. So Senator Mullins, as you can see, confronted him about it, and he was like, "Hey, if you want that smoke, you've been talking crap. So are you about it? Or like a little squabble up?" Now we look at this and it's all good and entertaining, and if they had really squabbled up, maybe that would have even really been entertaining. But at the end of the day, these are like literal politicians, literal senators, literally in charge of the government and you know the things that are going on like behind the scenes that control our entire society. So I'm just curious to know. Obviously we don't talk about politics here on here, but what do y'all think of when y'all see a situation like this? Does it seem like some like sitcom thing, or and do you like expect politicians to have to behave in a more professional manner, or would it really be the worst thing in the world if they really did, get to a little squabble up and just hash it out right then and there? What do y'all think? We'll start with you, Wes.
No, I mean this was obviously unprofessional, and can't really can't co-sign the behavior, obviously. But
So that man just has to sit there while the other senator or other congressman is typing up and tweeting up and saying all type of stuff behind my back.
I mean, at the end of the day, you reading it out loud in a formal setting like this and showing everybody how this person's character. I mean, I think that shows enough. And as far as what that person was trying to accomplish, I that if that person had whatever political interest they had, and it depended on the opinions of the people in that room, I hope that he wouldn't have had his way. But maybe, I mean, politics is dirty, and maybe he still would have been able to win over whoever he needed to win over, or pay off, or whatever it needed to be, and there would have been no repercussions. So I get why he did it. I mean, in a sense, or I shouldn't say that, but if there are circumstances in which it makes some sense, but I don't know. It just seems a bit much for the job, because it is still a job, and it's
Fair
like, how
enough.
much are you gonna do for your job?
Fair enough. Fair enough. How about you, CJ? What do you think of this? Would it really be the worst thing in the world if two grown ass consenting, like you said, politicians, got into a little duke out, got a little squabble up challenge, or do you really expect a higher level of professionalism from individuals like this?
Well, I mean, it's the obvious answer. They're supposed to be politicians, so this obviously is unprofessional behavior that they're exhibiting, and
What's that mean though?
um,
A politician can,
but
take off his shirt
no,
and
no,
get us through a 30-second real quick.
honestly, they can't. And then on top of that, I don't know the origination. I don't know. Look, all I'm saying is, I'm sure politicians look at other people who do these same type of things, and and they chuckle, what I'm saying, and look down upon them for acting in such unprofessional ways. So for me to see these politicians, acting like this, at their own job, yes, we're all human, and we all, have a boiling point, I guess. But I'm gonna just call it, hypocrisy. What they doing over here, I hate to assume that they, they might be looking down upon other people who act like that, but that's what I definitely assume. So for him to be doing that, I think it was definitely intentional, that he knew he was gonna make a scene about this, and try to call the other politician dude out. So I don't know. It was definitely unprofessional. I didn't see how this was going to lead to a solution at all. It just seemed like dude just really was going to call him out and like make a
Some,
fool out of him
sometime,
and
some,
try to punk.
sometime a quick beat down is not the solution. Sometime a quick just like
Look,
get it off
look
get
at
it
the
off your chest literally.
look at the audiences that's around him. This is not a fighting audience. This is not Fight Club that he's
Well, they
at.
did
Like
have a
this
ring.
is.
That's not a ring. That's the
Yeah, but
literal like Senate office.
the floor, the lobby floor, right there. Hey, I mean, look, yeah, it's unprofessional, and nah, he's not allowed to do that. He went to school for how many years, and how many endorsements and how much money he got donated to him and his cause. Nah, you're not allowed to look like that. You're basically a branded figure, like for whatever politician service that you do for the public. Yeah. So no, you're not allowed. No, bad.
Fair enough.
Oh, let me. I gotta. Well, I don't necessarily have to, but there's a
Hey, you
little
already walking
background
something back?
information. No, there's a little background information too. Like
Oh,
the
Okay.
the Teamsters is a big union, and I was gonna say like these union guys be a little bit provocative and kind of they have a certain reputation, but
Mm.
they also like literally like Jimmy Hoffa and they have a history of corruption. Like
oh,
so the guy that he's
Dang.
trying to no the guy he's trying to start a fight with, he might well end up dead if he starts some beef with somebody like that. So that adds to my statement that it's not really
fair enough.
the
That's
time
applicable
and
for this
place may not
specific
be worth.
instance
Right,
of
right, right, right.
issue.
And I said, but how much are you gonna do for your job? Is what I'm saying. Like in general, like there's like the people who try to go, fight the people who shoplift. Like it's like how much are you gonna do for your job? You're not the security person. You're not. That's not your role.
We actually We actually had a topic about that, about a woman that worked at a gas station that like fought off a
Yeah.
thief, and they got fired.
Damn.
How about you, Ace? Do you look at this and think it's completely foolishness, or like are they all human? Are they human as well? And if they want to get into a squabble up challenge, they have every right to.
So they're definitely human, and like any other human, and somebody getting into the point where they kind of want to square up, but
He
I
called him
view
a
this.
clown. He's
Yeah,
talking all that mess.
yeah, exactly. But I view this as any other job, um, including our own jobs. Like we would never, we would never get into to a situation where we
Who's
get to the
we?
point. Okay, maybe I shouldn't speak for everybody, but I'll speak for myself. I would never get into a situation where um I'm ready to fight somebody
Risk it
because
all.
yeah, exactly. Simply because if I want to continue my job um and just complete my job, having these type of like having a beef with somebody or having uh um or fighting somebody and potentially putting my job on the line is not in favor of me being able to keep my job. And um so for something like this where somebody is being antagonistic, clearly antagonistic, there's clear records of it, you would should say would approach it in a professional way because I'm in a professional setting. Um and I don't know, that seems to be that seems to be like logical and obvious to me that
So the antagonizer can talk all type of stuff. I don't got to play it again, but he was saying he calling him clown. He's saying he's acting tough.
so
He's
in the
instigating.
political context, he's reading it out and he's showing what this person is doing. All you have to say is none of that is relevant to whatever we're trying to discuss right now. Are we able to move forward from this and continue the discussion? Nobody is going to be
what
on
if
the
he says
side of
and
the
what if he
person
says
that's
nah?
just talking junk.
And what if he says nah? If you're
If,
about
if
to
he
stand
says
up,
no, then there's got to be a reason. Protocols in place to deal with somebody that's just blocking stuff from proceeding because they're being an ass. Like I would think that if we're in a government situation, there's some type of way to handle that besides just squaring up.
Seemed like nobody stepped in until homeboy stood up. But let me not dig too much into it. You're right. We obviously understand that. And then what about you, Ghost? You have any other thoughts on or ideas regarding this?
Y'all basically covered it. Like, I don't necessarily think that senators should or should not be held to a higher standard. I don't care enough about politics to get into that aspect of it. But you're on the job. You're broadcasting out to whoever is watching this. You're in a professional meeting equivalent that, like, I'm just imagining if I was in a super small scale Teams call and this exact scenario happened. I would probably be getting fired. Like, it's it's really not like even if you scaled it down, and this is politics, and you're literally deciding the fate of the country in some aspects. And if you can't be professional in doing that, then yeah, you will be fired from this job. You'll be fired from really any other job. And I know this dude probably didn't get fired because he's a politician, but it's like all you got to do. You don't even need to read out that note because again, you're on the job. That's not relevant to the job. But if you want to bring it up with them and say, meet me outside, that's all you got to do. Finish your meeting when you're off the clock. When it's not company time, then y'all can get into it. Y'all can scrap all you want and call it a day. But you can't scrap in the middle of the friggin' courtroom, whatever they are, because
the hearing.
You're on your job.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's all I gotta say.
Fair enough. I didn't realize we're so professional on this podcast, but that is how
we paying these people in a way, right?
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, I ain't trying to
public
see
service members.
Act a fool.
Fair enough. And I'm just joking for the most part. Obviously, like you were saying, it's regardless of their actual like occupation, like, you know, in this type of setting, you can't necessarily squabble up. Although it would have been entertaining. But if there's nothing else, we can move on to the next topic. So I gotta watch what you say, because you never know when that person's gonna press you. Oh Lord,
this is messed up.
Oh Lord,
you know what's weird? I feel as if this little kid is from another viral video.
Yeah,
but
he's from.
Yeah,
I don't.
His mom is from that Reno 911 thingy.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That big booty lady with the teeth.
Wait, hold on, wait. That's his mom?
What? Hey. Yeah, that's his mom. Yeah.
I guess this is why we need you on. I like when y'all come in here and give like the behind the scenes, like what?
Man, you know, when I seen the video, I had to find out myself because I was like, this is not. Dang, this man is traumatized here.
Anyway, if you're wondering what we're talking about here, this video went kind of viral of a mother. It seemed like they're at some type of mother and son. It seemed like they're at some type of function, and the mom is really getting jiggy, as old folks would say. Let's watch a video to see what her activities were looking like and how that impacted her son. So, if you're audio based only, mom was getting jiggy, you know, dancing on a gentleman. We don't know who this gentleman is, but some guy. And little homie came out the cut because he wasn't even in the original video, but you just see him making a mad dash through people, and then they cut that out immediately. This is not the time. This is not the place. And he just had that look of disgust and damn near horror on his face from looking at his mother doing stuff, that type of activity. Go to the next. It might be the next two, but it wasn't just, you know, he was not too happy about it, but it also definitely impacted the little kid. So go one more.
He made him cry by dancing with his mom.
Oh, I guess go one more. Yeah. Why they split all this?
But I don't know.
Camera's really zooming in on him, like, bro.
Woo.
Oh my.
Lord have mercy. So yeah, there you have it. I mean, not only was the young brother distraught at seeing his mom in this act, he even, it was like, you can tell he was definitely embarrassed. Without getting too, spending too much time on it. Little kid was embarrassed, seeing his mom and that thing. And I was just kind of curious seeing this clip. Seemed like somebody already saw it, but what do we make of this? Like, obviously, the son's upset, distraught, whatever the case may be. The mom's just having a good time. Yeah, they're doing their little little booty shaking. But I guess in general, do y'all think, and try to be realistic, don't just lean towards what's at the forefront of y'all minds right now. But do y'all think that parents should be like aware of their actions, specific actions like this woman was doing, when like their kids are in the vicinity? Or conversely, do you think like this is still like a young kid at the end of the day. Do you think that, at a certain age and a certain extent, the little kids should just be minding their own business, like stay at grown folks' business? What do you think, Ghost? I'll start with you.
All right, I'm trying to fight off my first reaction of just disgust with the parent and just like I wanted to say it's just like disgraceful, but I'll tone it down.
There you go.
Yeah. I don't know what the function they're at is. It looks like a more or less adult party, but they do got kids there. I don't know if it's a wedding or I don't know. But the mom's actions aside and the dude that's dancing with her aside, which I don't really want to get into, but I'm not okay with, and we'll leave it at that. Her doing it knowing that the kid is in the vicinity, I think is inappropriate. Not to say that adults shouldn't have fun in front of children, in front of their kids, whatever, but there's a difference between having fun and acting like a hoe. Both her and the dude, like both of them, like it's too much. And that I'd be saying that if there wasn't any kids there.
Well, hold on now.
No, you really don't think nah.
This woman is not necessarily.
Bro, nah. Come on, you tell no. I'm not saying that adults are entitled to do what they want, but
the H word. She's not acting like it. She's not acting. No, she's not acting like
it's whole behavior. Like objectively, you can't get around that.
Objective.
Ask 99% of people what they think seeing this. But okay, that's not even the point. Those actions aside, the mom. I don't want to say you have to live your every waking moment especially when you're trying to have fun at a function, always aware of how your child is going to see you. But at the same time, you want your child to respect you as a parent, and you have to be respectable. And her doing this, having a grand old time, and honestly, like the dancing is one thing, but the fact that after he like cut in and stopped it, she still is like laughing it up. You got 50 cameras on him, people pulling out the cameras thinking, oh, this is so funny. Like he's obviously hurt and upset by this. And at the end of that last video, she didn't care. She started dancing to the next song. Like he's tears, bro. Like that's really like unconscionable. And again, I'm trying to put aside like the actual act itself, but you have to have some consideration of your children. And even if little bro was all right with it and didn't care, like you have to. You're in I'll leave it at this. You're in a public setting with children there. I don't know how many, but there's obviously at least one. This is not appropriate behavior to have in front of children, especially your own. and you should be aware of that. Like, again, I'm not saying don't have fun, don't do this, don't do that. If you want to act like a hoe, both of them, do it on your own time. Not that I'm co-signing it, but you live your life. I can't control what you do, but you should be aware if you bring a child with you. If you didn't want your child to see it, like, leave them with a babysitter or something.
I mean, maybe they got a little
fun.
lick in their stomach and then they start getting a little looser. Who knows?
Man, it's again, it's on them. You have the choice. Don't drink as much. Don't get loose. Don't get tipsy. Don't get whatever. Have some self-control, because again, you are the caretaker, the guardian of this child. And if you lose all your inhibitions when you get a little drink in you, then you shouldn't be drinking.
Yeah,
That's all.
you are speaking nothing but facts, but it definitely sound a little harsh. What about you, Ace? What do you make of something like this? Do you think parents should be conscious of their actions around their kids, or you think kids should stay out of grown folks' business?
This is go to West. Go to West.
Bet. What do you think, Wes? Do you think like same question, and like, do you think their reaction, like, I guess specifically mom, but just the crowd in general, it was super inappropriate?
Yeah, I mean, I think the fact that her son was there and she was behaving the way she was behaving, was strange. I think
You talking about the dancing or the entire thing when you say behavior?
Well, yeah, I mean the dancing, and then the kind of ignoring the kid, knowing that he's in a bad place. Um, it was kind of crazy. But I think the other piece of this is that they're public. They're public. I think all of them probably. I think the dude is an influencer. I think CJ says she was somebody, and the kid, he even was on he had a viral video, and he was on what do you call it, Steve Harvey show.
Oh
Like
shoot!
so I think
I can't remember the little viral video, but his little big head definitely seems familiar.
yeah, and I think that affects kind of their perception of what's going on, but or their perception of how to be in public. And so I think that, in a way kind of affected, they reacted in the situation negatively. I think they just think like, I think they're just doing stuff in a way for the camera, or just like negligently because they're public, So I think
So you give them the grace of they may not be thinking how this is intentionally wrong. They're just doing it for the camera.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's grace. It's the fact that being an influencer, or being in the spotlight like that, for whatever reason, is kind of affected negatively the way that they kind of are ignoring the fact that, yeah, this is still a kid. And I'm sure I don't know, in the video he said that's mine. Like, is he saying that they're together? But even if they're together, and it's still not, I'm sure it's not the kid's dad, and the behavior is still inappropriate in a way. And I don't think it comes down to a kid being overly defensive of his mother, which it could be in a way, because even like little kids, even with their parents being intimate, get a little bit uncomfortable sometimes.
Exactly. Sometimes kids just don't. Sometimes kids stick their nose in grown folks' business and they get overprotective when it's really like not that big of a deal.
Yeah, but even if you get into a situation where, let's say the mom had a kid with somebody, and then it has bringing in another partner into the situation, it's still a sensitive thing, and you have to know how to do it, how to go about it correctly. And so
that's true, but that's not this per se. From what we see,
not per se. No. But I'm saying, because I think he said in one of those videos, he said that's mine, as in he's with
Well,
her.
let's not. You don't need to
I'm
focus
not gonna
too
jump to
much.
conclusions exactly.
If she was dancing on a woman, which woman would be doing, would that make this wholly offensive too? Is it purely because it was a dude?
I don't think it would have necessarily affected the kid in the same way, but I think in general, yeah, you should still
Yeah.
not necessarily be showing that side in front of your kid. If you have a side like that, which is what it is, you should not necessarily be doing.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
And I mean, age matters, but at a certain, yeah, this is a kid.
And then what about you, CJ? You think there's messed up how they handled the situations with this kid, or do you think the kid is like we're saying, I guess being one way to look at it, they're being or protective during their feelings, like getting grown from his business and whatnot.
Well, I will say it doesn't help that the dude looks half her age, but standing up behind her, you know what I'm saying? And you got her kid coming through the crowd, distraught. So I
He
mean,
did a mad dash. He's about to be in the NFL.
yeah, a motherly instinct, I would think would be immediately something's wrong with my kid, But I mean, hey, yeah, it's a function, it's a party. But nah, as a mother, I'm pretty sure you're gonna prioritize your kids. So in this scenario, it's not even like it should stay out of grown folks' business. No, I hate to pull the N word negligence on her, but you know what I'm saying. But yo, like whether or not they're viral figures or not, you know what I'm saying. They're dressed up like he got a bow tie on, like. Still a formal setting, I know the culture like to get down, when it's time to party and stuff, but you still gotta hold accountability. You're still a mom, so like even if you're gonna go do that, like shouldn't the kids like go have like it's not a straight adult party like, we were saying earlier. It's you still have responsibilities, you're still accountable, So your kid's not at home while you're out, you know what I'm saying? Your kid is with you, so and someone needs to drive home, so don't be acting too loose, and don't be in
That's
compromising looking situations, Your kid might ask you about it later, you know what I'm saying? It might make you uncomfortable, like, cause and effect, you know what you is, if you were a parent. Come on now, it's not rocket science.
The thing is, you guys are all like 100% right. It's just you in the same in this. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I'm just saying because this is a son, so we're not even talking about if it was a daughter type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Because I think that'd be even worse. Like because so yeah, you know what's not a good look and what is a okay thing, and that wasn't a good look on her part. So
the thing
he not ready for that scene.
Even if I am to like fully subscribe to what y'all are saying, the fact of the matter is times are a bit different. Not only what's acceptable at a function like this, but also
you can watch that on TV, but you don't want your mom to do that stuff.
But that's what I was gonna say. And like, for better or for worse, kids are also like exposed to stuff like this. It's like it's kind of we're in a interesting times where like I'm pretty sure it's not the first time for better or for worse the young brother has seen this type of behavior, but like now that it's moms, now it's a whole thing.
No, I think that's a good indication. It's an indication that despite this content being around, there is still the fact that it's still affecting kids, and it needs to be recognized that this boy is not okay with that. Like even if he's seen it before, that people need to chill out.
Yeah.
So man, and this is like the last thing, and y'all know I'm kind of like facetiously fighting back because I probably have even stricter stances than some of y'all. But like, so say this is your formal event. Say this is your wedding, your feast or whatever. You're hosting this type of thing, and you see this type of behavior. Who's stopping it? Come on, keep it a stack, a whole stack. Or who's saying anything? You saying something, Wes?
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
so.
it's a lot of us all of a sudden, huh?
Oh no. I'm trying to make sure that I'm not capping. I think so. I think so. I think
He thinks
the,
so.
the so no. So when I first saw this video, I didn't see her. I didn't see what she was doing. I just saw immediately the dude in front of her, and then it cut to the kid. But when I saw what she was doing, and like in
I was about to say, you want me to play? You want us
the
to play
amount of
again so you
time,
can get a full clear picture of it?
so, but the amount of time she was before he even approached her, and the nonsense that was going on, and I was like, oh, I see why he got so mad. At first, I just thought, oh, his mom was dancing with a guy, and he didn't know the guy he was checking him up. You know, he's just acting grown. But no, I was like, hold up, this was a lot. Like, why is that happening when your kid is there? And so I think if it was my function, and especially if I knew there were kids in the function, I think I'd probably step to the dude, the grown dude. Or I said,
Fair
you
enough.
know.
Fair enough. I believe you. What about you, CJ? This is your function. You stopping this? Come on. We grew up on like Ludacris. We were talking about Kanye earlier. Come on, you stopping this? Keep it a stack.
Come on now, look where we at in 2023 now, bro. Because we won't stop at nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like in this scenario, it's my function. Yeah, bro. We're formal evented out here, bro. Like, why is she in a nice dress doing that? Like, we're bringing the value down to this function right now. That's just in general. Like I said though, kids need to be kids, bro, while they still can, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like, don't ruin your image, you know? Like, I don't know. Sooner or later, this kid's about to be rebellious to his mom because he done lost respect for her. You know what I'm saying? Come on, bro. Like,
Man,
domino effect. That's
damn.
what I'm looking.
That point kind of stinks.
Yeah.
And then you guys are appearing pretty consistent and not capping it all tonight. But what about you, Ghost? This is your function. You see some type of shenanigans going on. You saying something?
If there are no kids at the function,
No, there are kids there too.
okay. If it's like the same exact scenario, yeah, I'm stopping it. I'm like, basically, be like the kids here. Like you gotta relax. Like if there wasn't, then
And then what you mean we gotta relax? We just had to have fun. Just trying to have a good time.
Nah,
Shouldn't you lighten up?
I don't know. I would say look at Lil Bro's in tears. Like you're not gonna do this at my party. Like again, if there were no kids and it was just a regular, like, I certainly don't co-sign this. But if it's two adults doing whatever, then I don't want to say have a blast, but
This man out here like a predator on the dance floor.
yeah, exactly. You can't just go and start it. Nah, you can't have say too inappropriate. But again, if there are children there, then I'm 100% stepping in.
Fair enough. I do tend to actually 100% believe y'all. Okay, I am gonna be keeping a fine eye at y'all future like weddings and things of that nature. I'm gonna keep you in a fine eye. That's all I'm saying. But no, ultimately you guys are largely right. And you brought up a hell of a good point, CJ. Like, you do have to be extremely conscious of like your behavior around kids, not just your own kids, but I mean predominantly your own kids, but like kids in general, because like this little thing could like dramatically impact the way he literally views his mother, and you know, and also the way they treat the situation after. You know, laughing at him, pointing at him. That's the fact that this is on the internet right now, viral. It just kind of propagates the issue. But it is what it is. Life is just you're just one bad day away from being a meme on the internet. Dang, the crying Jordan face. We got the crying this kid's face. Damn. But yeah, obviously you guys realize you're right. And it's unfortunate. Hopefully, you know, after seeing some of the, it kind of sucks that it would get to a point where you have to see like backlash. I don't know if they receive a whole bunch of backlash, but if they receive some level of like conversation brewing because of it on the internet, maybe then they'll kind of look at it like, oh, okay, maybe they'll even do apology videos, even though I can't stand apology videos.
That's the thing though. That's the thing about, you know, viral figures or what they call them? Public. I don't know what they are. But you know what I'm saying.
Influencers,
But
celebrities,
it,
people of clout.
it's yeah. The point is to draw attention to themselves, whether what I'm saying it's morally right or not. You know what I'm saying, they're going for them views. So like that's what really blurs the lines. I feel like because they're kind of like normalizing inappropriate shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, oh yeah, it's just a skit, or oh yeah, nah, it's not real, but it is real, and y'all making it normal, like
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we the old head podcast today. Shoot.
Hey,
No,
I mean, you're 100% right, but
what I was gonna say, if anyone ever,
man.
if anyone ever wanted like reassurance that we are like quote unquote heavily have quote unquote like a podcast that we look at the perspective of men of God, or try to not completely devoid scriptures away from anything. I mean, like it was pretty consistently like against this type of behavior. But for what that's worth. And I did see what you said. I wish we had caught that earlier, Wes. But going back a bit, we did get a comment regarding what was the homeboy's name? Senator Mullins. It said this low key often happens in these type of forums. I learned in law school that in these spaces, politicians have no decorum and this behavior typically does not have consequences.
Dang.
interesting.
Fight Club.
Apparently,
Man,
if Bernie wasn't there, who knows? They might have.
that's what I'm saying. Bernie had to put his foot down to get them to squash it. He was about to. The crazy thing.
Bro's 120 years old. Still,
He would have had to hop over that little desk
Yeah.
like thing to get to the other guy. They would have
Bro.
rushed him down.
Why? Bernie looked like the old man in Futurama.
Yeah.
Professor.
Yeah, the professor. Yeah,
Yeah.
just sitting there.
Oh man,
That's-
he probably be forgetting stuff just like him.
That's crazy.
Man, but thank you. We appreciate that. If anyone ever is listening and has any commentary, maybe we could be saying something that's wrong. Please correct us or provide your input. I don't know if you're still there, Ace, but or caught up with something. But if there's nothing else on this, we can move on to the next topic.
Yeah, we can go to the next one.
I think we're almost through everything. Oh man! Speaking of the young, man, this could. I don't want to spend too much time on any one thing. And I only really brought this because you know me. I like talking about topics that could go into a deeper conversation. We can actually like have an in-depth conversation. I don't just like to bring in topics about like in this day in hip hop or this week in hip hop. But this is kind of like a special case that I kind of want to dissect just because there's so many elements I don't fully understand. So we talked about this brother recently, not in relation to really anything specific that he's about, but really wasn't about him to begin with. But he took part in the one chip challenge, but he didn't. He made a homeless brother do it.
This dude.
And again, I didn't really bring that up to reflect on his actions, but just more so the danger of the chip and how people are using it. But I think, whether you focus on what he did or not, I think his actions, you start to build a perception of this young brother in your mind. So if you don't know, this is T.I. and Tiny's son, King Harris, 19 years old. He's relatively young. You gotta give the youth a little grace. And this is kind of what'd you say?
I said, do you?
I try to at least.
I don't know if this brother deserves grace after that video.
All the youth need a little bit of it, just a little bit of it. So there has been some level of trend of him garnering negative attention due to his actions, his behavior, what he's saying, even some of the particular lifestyle choices, which I don't know why we focus on that much, like his aesthetic decisions to be made. But this seemed to be kind of like a breaking point, and like this guy's like out of it. This young brother needs some like hard like guidance, or else he's gonna like go off the deep end. So this actually happened a while ago. I think even like you see it posted November 26th. So this has happened just for some context, and to some we don't know what happened aftermath, but we pray and hope that they had some level of resolution to this. But it's not gonna stop us from talking about what actually happened. So, and I'll even give you a little bit more context. It's not super relevant, but what happened after this, like during this day, we just saw at first we just saw like go to like the second to last slide. Even before we see the videos, we just see him post this stuff. He posted, "I stand on business. I don't give a F who you are." And he says, "I don't give a F who you are. I can't play, can't play with me in my face. Not going for these brothers are from the South, so you gotta interpret like you from the South. I'm not going. I'm a grown ass man now." What else did he say? No, to the right. He said, "If I'm a mistake, say that. Stop making the world think you F with me when you don't." So he posted these, and like all people do when they got something to get off their chest in this day of social media, they just post to the gram. They don't really give context. They're just throwing subs. So we don't know what's going on. Then we get a little bit of context once the other footage comes out. So now let's take it back to the beginning.
Have you ever woke up with a roach on your face?
Here. No, that's not the goal.
All right, then. So there it goes.
Or in your ear.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I got in the neighborhood with me that broke up with roach in your ear. Y'all want to go to the bando and man my neighborhood? Do y'all want to go to the bando? Do y'all want to go to the bando? To make him look better, he said he know not true. Silver spoon, I ain't never ate with that day a day in my life.
Nigga, you did have a silver spoon.
Look, used to have to come to my grandma's house because I'm getting in the
You
fight.
cried like a baby to go to your grandmama's house.
Every day.
You used to hold your breath and throw tantrums to go over there.
Neighborhood. I don't want to be in these gates. I want to be outside in the neighborhood. That's why I want to be over there. But they don't understand that.
No, I'm going to tell you the reason why he want to be over there. Y'all ready? Because he can suck and pacify over there. He was 12 years old. He was sucking pacify.
Man, can you believe there's actually more? So as you start to get some interaction, he's going back and forth with his little mom and dad, and who I don't need to remind everyone who Tiny and T.I. are like one of the biggest people in music. Like anybody that's even in the proximity of them didn't have to struggle. But according to his story, he did receive some level. He did experience some level of struggle. Like you said, he was in a neighborhood where he didn't have roaches, but somebody in the neighborhood had roaches. So he's just kind of bucking up against his parents. He has a different iteration of his life growing up according to theirs. And, we do see this time to time. We it's not uncommon for parents to have not a recollection, but an idea of how good our lifestyles were in comparison to how we view it. Let's see how it progresses. Spoiler: it progresses for the worst.
He was 12 years old. He couldn't do that in the house.
He cried like a baby. Hold his breath.
Yeah.
They try to say I was over there trying to sucker pass it, but they ain't gonna tell you everything like that. They trying to hide it.
Ain't nobody hiding that.
He capping. Hey, he know I stand on business. He know that. Ain't no nigga ever pull my car ever in life. I stand on business. You drop me somewhere, I stand on business. You drop me in your hood, I stand on business.
I don't feel like you stand on business.
Yeah, I've been stood on business. I've been stood on business. You want to hide it for the world? I'm gonna put it out there for them to see. I want to put up nowhere. You ain't had me put up nowhere. Like you ain't had me behind the mansion. I was outside doing what I wanted to do.
You was behind that till you cried.
No, ain't got too much to drink. Done drunk too much. Let's go.
Ooh, so it's getting a bit more rebellious, a little more rowdy. Again, contradiction in stories.
You gotta watch all of these. Oh Lord!
You gotta get all the context so you can form a proper opinion. Keep going. Wait, did I get the wrong one? No, keep going.
capping. You capping. You're mad. You capping. I know. I know you capping. I know you. I know you. I know you. I know you. I know you though. I know you though.
Listen carefully to this part, by the way.
I know you though. I know you. What's wrong with y'all? Why y'all doing that to me? Y'all know me. You know I stand on business. You know I stand on business. Why you even letting me?
He's on Instagram Live, by the way.
Why you letting somebody play with me like that? Why you letting him play with me like that? Why you letting him play with me like that? No, ain't no joking. Ain't no joking. What do you mean?
You are embarrassing yourself and your family, nigga. You embarrassing yourself. You are embarrassing yourself. You are embarrassing yourself.
Man, get off me. What is you talking about? Get off me, nigga. Man, get off me, nigga.
Well, you can't do nothing with me. Shit you can do with me.
If you had a father or father figure in your life, you heard those words before. But again, to try to bridge, maybe I'm speaking for maybe I'm speaking too. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. Anyway, to break it down, like I was saying,
Oh man.
maybe I should have said if you had like a really old school or southern father figure. Anyway, to break it down, it started off with a conversation about differing in the way they viewed the upbringing, and it devolved into year capping and eventually a small. We don't know the full details, and when people are on the phones get into these scuffles, we can't really see the details. But one thing I know, if I could have heard that from a mile away, I can tell what's going on when a dad says you can't do nothing with me, boy. So yeah, we don't gotta get. If you guys need more context, I can obviously provide it. But essentially, when I see this, it really gets not just me. It really gets the mind wondering, what is the obsession? I don't know if that's the right word to say, but like, why do you think a person who's experienced privilege would want to be known from coming from the struggle? Because I think that's what it really boils down to. Like, even if we take this, what he's saying, like, and being super charitable, and saying, he was, behaving in a way that resulted in him being sent away to other houses or other homes, or whatever the case may be. This brother was afforded privilege that like less than 1% of people in the probably the whole world ever experience. But it seems like they have this need to hold on to, hey, I came from where I came from. He's talking about bandos. He's talking about being adjacent to people that were struggling. He's talking about I never had the silver spoon, and all those things could be true. But what is the need to do you guys understand why this person would want to cling to it, if that makes sense? We'll start with you, CJ. What do you think of when you see this, and why do you think people tend to want to hold on to that struggle life?
I definitely hear him trying to claim his own identity outside of him trying to be in his own top shadow as far as, son of T.I. But, I definitely hear his parents sound like, they don't like him talking too much either, So, all of that looks super unnecessary and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, yeah, I just hear him trying to, claim rights to his own identity. When you first asked that question, the first thing my mind went to is, why do Disney Channel stars want to be, Hollywood stars later, or whatever the fact. But I feel like a lot of people, in these these influencers and stuff like that, they want their own identity. They play a part for so long, and then later they like, hey, okay, that part is getting played out or getting old, or maybe they can't stand in that same shadow anymore. So,
and you would say that need for identity could even result in wanting an identity that's not anything to be wholly proud of.
Definitely backlash against his pops like that, like what I'm saying, whether his pops was fully 100% there or not. I feel like because he's literally T.I.'s son. You know, that's what the first thing you're going to relate him to. Like Jaden Smith, Will Smith's son. You know, like it's hard to get out of such shadows. You know,
Yeah.
but for him, he's not really doing nothing. You know, industry wise for television or whatever the fact. So I feel like
What you mean? He's rapping. He's a rapper.
Oh, is he? My bad. Sorry.
Hold on. Just for a real quick side, there's T.I. has a son that's a rapper that's not bad though.
What do you mean
Right?
bad? Hold up. No, you hold up.
Not bad.
What do you mean? What do you mean
He
bad?
said not bad.
I'm pretty sure. Okay, pretty sure he has a son. I remember.
Yes, he has
7
a
kids,
son.
so one of them.
This is not him.
And
Surely.
they're also in the world of music. Yes.
Okay.
I don't know what you mean by not bad. I don't know if you want to clear that up or elaborate.
He dropped the track and I was not half bad
Look,
at all.
struggling identities right there. You see, T.I.
Oh,
has
you mean?
a whole
Oh,
bunch
you mean
of
the
sons.
music isn't bad?
The music, yeah.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Got you. My
Yeah,
apologies.
no, the music.
My bad. Did you have anything else on that, CJ?
Oh, no, I'm saying, see, so there you go. You got T.I. who has a son that's actually making good music, you know, and then another T.I. son that's struggling making good music, you know.
Well,
I mean,
he's not struggling per se.
Hey, bro, these SoundCloud views and
I imagine
streams
he's
don't
making.
count.
Yeah, I imagine he's. Yeah, I mean, I imagine making music that kids want.
I'll give credit for a TMZ following more than a music following, because these how you count streams is not, I don't think, fair to the music game right now. Streams making people famous necessarily when you didn't even put out albums still. But don't listen to me. Continue.
Fair enough. What about you, Ace? When you see this, like, what do you make of it, and why do you think that people feel the need to want that to be known for that struggle life?
Yeah, I think it's just it's got to be something about trying to fit in with his peers, because because I feel like I felt that to some extent when I was younger.
You want to be known from being from the band, though?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't necessarily want to. I didn't want to be disassociated from my own people, I think is what it is. And growing up in a place that was predominantly white, I did start to feel that more and more, like as I got into the junior high and high school age. So like it's not the same as what he's doing, but it was similar, where I wanted to start dressing a certain way, maybe start like
keeping it real,
speaking a certain way in some capacity, in order to feel like I had that connection. And I grew out of it eventually, and started to become more comfortable with myself and who I was, just with my whole history and my what my parents have done to give me the opportunities that I have. But yeah, I definitely experienced it to some extent, and I think that probably applies to him. I think it's just as simple.
That's actually a super interesting perspective to hear, and like not coming from like a perspective of necessarily who you want to be, you don't want to be associated with gangsters or somebody that's struggling, but the want to be associated with your own peers. Could I don't want to say overstep, but it could be a real thing. That's interesting. What about you, Ghost? What do you make of this? Surely you can understand why a person, not you specifically, but you come on, you give him some grace, right?
I don't know why you said me specifically, unless I'm missing something, but I mean, he's wildin', but I think I understand it.
You're the youngest
for
here.
one, yeah, like I think CJ made a good point in that he's trying to create his own identity. I think there might be some element of peer pressure that goes along with this, and he wants to be like his peers. I'm not trying to get inside his mind. I don't know what his thought process is, but I think a big chunk of it is probably the fact that, like, when he kept bringing up, like, he's standing on business and he's his own man now. I think, like, he's associating this lifestyle with being a man and with being independent and
speak about it.
Just like he kept repeating "stand on business" over and over, which I mean, you know, could be overusing phrases and all that, but essentially, like, he's trying to show
on business. Sorry,
I use it sometimes, but he uses it like, come on, that was a little much. But like, he's, I think, so desperate to prove to either himself or his parents. Like, I really think that in his mind, he truly believes that he did not grow up with a silver spoon, and he struggled, and he has friends that grew up a certain way. Because I mean, I think that I don't want to say he's right, but trying to think, there was a certain way I wanted to phrase it, kind of slipped my mind, but he doesn't know any better. I think that's a better way to put it. Like he truly doesn't know what it's like to struggle. Like when the adults ask him, like, you know what it's like to grow up with roaches on your face, because they've been through that. They know what it's like, and he doesn't. It's so foreign to him. Like, he's saying, okay, yeah, I'm sure you went through that, but what I went through is just as bad, or it's similar. Where again, he doesn't know, and that's part of being young. In that, I mean, I'm still relatively young, especially compared to y'all, but it's I know better than I did when I was his age. He's 19 for all y'all are wondering, but I know better now than I did when his age. Like, what some of the thought processes that I had, and I was never really, like, I kind of always knew that I didn't know as much as I thought I did. It's kind of a paradox, but you really don't know how much you don't know until you learn. And it's just part of getting older, get more experience. So again, I think in his mind, he really truly believes that the way he grew up is indicative of him being hard, and that's why he's kind of gravitated toward this life. And there's really no way for him to learn otherwise, because he didn't grow up in a certain way to know the difference, and he's just gonna have to learn probably the hard way, be it something physical or just through age. But
I mean,
I don't know. I mean,
you saw T.I. yoke him up like that.
I didn't see much, to be honest. That's another. Why is this on live? Like, I don't know if Time is recording this.
Because we live in a social media.
We don't need to show this shit.
This is his live, I think.
Yeah.
Wait, is he recording? No, someone else was recording because they turned around the camera on themselves.
That was Tiny taking his phone.
Oh.
Yeah. He was on
okay.
live.
All right. I was confused. So I guess
this is his live.
All right. I thought the parents were recording, so he's on live. Okay, got it. But
he's trying to show everybody that he's staying on business, even in front of his pops. The whole just past that.
Like this T.I. choking him isn't really going to do anything, because in his mind, he's in the right, his parents in the wrong, and he's not going to back down.
You don't think the ass whooping might change his mind?
Not. I mean, I think it would take a real ass whooping, like getting. And I'm not wishing this on him, but I'm just.
No, we're not doing it here. Like, I'm just
like, I think just it would take like him getting really physically hurt in a way that your parents aren't going to do that to you, if they're good parents. Like, they're, and not that I'm condoning it, but he put his hands on him just to like show him a little taste, but that probably isn't going to do anything for him. It's really going to take someone just eating the shit. Like, again, I'm not saying that I want this at all, but
we got really it. We all know, you know, what scripture says unless a stiff-necked people.
Yeah, like unless you really feel that fear of like, damn, I'm really getting my ass beat right
I
now.
might die.
And there's,
He
if you
said
don't
that
have
won't
that
nothing.
fear
He
in
said
you,
that
like,
could take
damn,
nothing.
this person might not stop.
He
It's, you
said
can't.
that ain't even hurt.
Yep. It's just there's really no way to replicate that, and I don't think that can come from a parent, or it should not come from a parent. It really shouldn't come from anywhere, but that's just some people learn the hard way, and I don't. I'm not trying to suggest anything that would solve this, but I can understand his mindset, and not that I agree with it at all, because I think he's absolutely wilding, but
He's fearless.
No, we're definitely not trying to solve this equation and help this brother specifically. Although I wouldn't mind to sort of sit down, try to get into his mind. I think you guys are actually giving some really good insight on just like the mind of like why a person would want to engage, or not even not facade, but really want to be from the hood and want to have their own identity, and some of the things you guys are saying. I think if you understand that, at least maybe if you come to a point in your life where you're dealing with a young person that's having these kind of reactions, I think you might be able to like break it down to them better, because they might just be moving based off, hey, I actually feel like I'm in the right. And yes, we all know the difficulties of talking to a young boy, but I think understanding it gets you better than just like not.
I don't know. I don't think this is, even if you do, you can explain it to them. I really don't think this is something that you can just talk to any kid about that's in this mindset. I think it's really has to be, they have to learn it for themselves by living life, which is sad.
I don't necessarily agree. I think you can have.
I don't know. There might be some exceptions.
You can use conversation to get through some people, even
maybe,
if your goal is not necessarily to help like get them in a clearer state of mind, you having the understanding of why they could be acting like this, I think it might put you more at peace or more solace.
Yeah, that I think it would help as a parent to just know that they're not just trying to like purposely disrespect you just for the sake of being bad. Like there's reasoning behind it, not that it's logical, but that it would help. But it's just, that's why parenting is so difficult, because sometimes there's nothing that you can explain it as best as you can. You can you can do all you can from your end, but sometimes it just won't make a difference, and it has to be from the kid,
life lessons.
Yeah, just learn it through living life. So
yeah. Hey man, that's why we try to have so many conversations on this podcast. So we are just a little bit, if it's not just a small percentage, closer to being able to deal with some of these situations. But before we move on, what about you? Did you have any other words or thoughts regarding like why somebody would want to like cling on to certain identities that they didn't necessarily experience when they came from a bit of privilege?
Yeah, I mean, I think T.I. was in a delicate situation, and everybody who's famous is in a delicate situation. Famous or wealthy, rich, wealthy, whatever. In raising their kids, because there's the opportunity for those kids to be really bad people, a higher opportunity in a way, in different ways than other kids. And I think that in a way, like, and I mean, I agree as far as like him trying to claim an identity, because especially in our teenage years. But I think that we need to, like, for kids who are privileged, I think a little bit of a message of, yeah, you're privileged. You're different because of the background that you have, and you're not necessarily going to be able to relate to everybody in the same way, but you still need to be a good person, and to teach them how to be a good person in their new position, which is not the same position that T.I. was in. Like, people with the first generation of money, they don't necessarily have the tools, because they don't understand what it's like to grow up without with money. And so it's like there has to be some type of education where where it's also okay to say, I'm different, I'm privileged, I'm and I have to uphold a certain standard of living based on that. So I'm a whatever. I'm a Harris, and we dignified, and we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do that, and I don't need to identify with people in the I had a bad life, or just lying, or trying to, because it's insulting in a way to people who have lived that life. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, you don't know half, but you're talking all this stuff and putting on this persona, and maybe there's people who are fooled, but it's not sustainable, and it's not a good lifestyle. And then on the other hand too, he has a double battle of being Ti and his kid knowing that Ti is Ti, and how he got famous, and what he the content of his music, and the struggle that he went through, and all that. It's all part of his life. So if Ti were to establish, like, if he were to establish his kid with the same type of mindset of somebody who, I don't know, was an investment banker, or somebody who got rich in a different way, then the kid might say, "Nah, you're being a hypocrite." There's things that he would have to. So yeah, he was in a tricky place raising kids in general. And even the company he keeps, the other the other celebrities that he's around, and all this stuff, like, they all have a similar story or similar backgrounds, which again make it harder to a certain type of life. And then so, like, in a way, it's rap culture. Like,
Facts.
do you want to say, like, that everybody feels they have to have that grittiness to their story, or else they're not legitimate, or else they can't participate. And I think that needs to be either, I don't know if I would say it necessarily, yeah, it needs to be addressed in a way. I think people need to realize, and not only that, that's not the only way, and that there's a wide variety of subgenres of hip hop, and that you don't need to necessarily take the same route of the struggle and all
Yeah.
that, but and glorify anything negative, obviously, but I think that's a big piece of it too.
Yeah, no, you raised an excellent point. Coming from the, not in any wise demeaning or offensive way, but coming from like the shadows, or just from the seat of Ti, it's like you kind of want to embrace some of what Ti might have went through as well. Yeah, again, and ultimately, I'm not here to solve this young man's troubles. Again, what'd you say?
Oh no, I was laughing at that. We got deep into homie.
Yeah.
I think we could have been his counselor on this one.
But
You would not have listened to us.
yeah,
If
he's not listening to literal Ti, he's not listening to us.
It's so hilarious too.
He's gonna say I stand on business. Y'all don't know nothing about me, and keep pushing.
To think about it too, like, and this is what annoys me about kids, young people in general. Like, Ti is your father. Like, he's I mean, I don't know the extent of the story and his son, and everything, but this is your father and mother standing in front of you, and you're telling them you stand on business.
What do you mean? That's what it means to stand on business. You don't truly stand on business if you can't stand on business in front of your parents.
It's like, what are you talking about? I know you. Like, what are you talking?
That's what they're saying. We know you. We know. That's literally what they're saying.
What are you telling me to assert to me? Like, that's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
And
But
it's Ti.
and that's why, yeah, and that's why, again, it's a marginal amount. I do give young people a bit of grace, because kind of what you're saying, Ghost. There's like, they really don't get it. It's just like a wall between their brain and reality. So you just gotta, and then you have also think about it in terms of like, okay, he's this bad right now, and he does need some work. But imagine if he was like 30 acting like this. Holy. But yeah, salute to Ti, whole legend, whole king of the South, whatever you want to say. But it does suck a lot of this. It's like I don't want to say anything corny. It's like The Matrix. It's like it sucks when things go viral when like if they were handled on a more family private level, like that's how things should go. But then what will we talking about? Hey man, I would love to come out here and come present all positive stories. But
I feel like all celebrity kids go through it in their own kind of psychological way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just as far as trying to get their identity, because look, Jaden Smith went through the same stuff. Everybody's like, "Yo, this dude's weird. Like, what's wrong with him?"
You went through it in a different way, but yeah.
Yeah, in a different way. But that's what I'm saying. But they all go through. Hannah Montana went through her weird phase. Like, they all kind of just go through this phase where it's just like they're trying to find themselves, but also trying to prove themselves too. Like, it's weird.
Yeah.
But hey, that's them.
Okay. If there's nothing else, we can move on to the next and pretty much the last topic. So the Timbaland, he posted. I'm not sure when it took place. I'm assuming it's relatively recent, but Rick Ruben was having an interview and he was sitting down. And this particular conversation, they were talking. I mean, as you can see by that caption, what they believe, and Rick Ruben's obviously a whole legend. What they believe the dynamic between an artist and an audience should be, and I guess the way they would sum it up is that the audience should come last. So let's hear what they'd say, and I want to know if y'all generally agree.
Say in the book is that the audience comes last. And I believe that. I'm not making it for them. I'm making it for me. And it turns out that when you make something truly for yourself, you're doing the best thing you possibly can for the audience. So much of why, if you go to the movies, so many big movies just not good. It's because they're not being made by a person who cares about it. They're being made by people who are trying to make something that they think someone else is going to like. And that's not how art works. That's something else. It's not art. That's commerce. So if we're making art, it's almost like a diary entry. So could I be concerned that someone else might not like my diary entry? It doesn't make sense. It has nothing to do with them. My diary entry has nothing to do with anyone else. So everything we make as artists are essentially diary entries.
So it's a regular one. So yeah, like I said, breaking down like his views on how artists should perceive their art in relation to the audience, just in the sense that it should be wholly personal and exactly the type of content or art that they would want to create. And if the audience happens to like it, then that's, just that would be the natural progression of these things. And it's a topic we kind of brushed against time and time again. I'm super curious to know what your thoughts on it are, Wes. But at the same time, and maybe it's just me, but at the end of the day, anything can sound good if a legendary producer is saying it, and then you got the little soft music in the background making it sound official. When realistically speaking, I mean, can you truly be an artist, one that's putting out the art, if you never take into consideration what the people like? I mean, would you guys say that there should be more of a balance thing, or you think his view would lead to greater art? Because in my mind, and not to give too much about what I think on the matter, if you put out a product, maybe that first or second iteration, you would probably be thinking, hey, this is the genuine art that's in my heart and what I would want to put out. But once you start putting out content more frequently, or art more frequently, and people start to gravitate towards it, if people like it and they're extremely supportive of you, how could you not take them into consideration? Like, maybe your heart's telling you to create, maybe you're a rapper, but now you just in your heart, you want to make a country album. I mean, you can do that, but if your audience is saying, hey, we want to hear you rap, not to say you should be fully, indentured to your audience, but would you really not take in consideration? And like I said, I do want to hear which have Wes, but I guess I'll actually start off with you, Ace. What do you think of this concept, or what he's saying?
I don't know. I mean, I think I wholeheartedly agree. And what I'm trying to think about now is, are there any contradictions that I know of that where an artist I like put out music that I don't like and it makes me upset at the artist?
I
That
mean,
does happen.
do you like all that Linkin Park shit? The late stage Linkin Park shit?
I don't.
Weren't you
But
saying that
does
you
that
haven't
mean
listened to that late Linkin Park, the one of the more recent ones, Linkin
Yeah, I
Park
mean,
Protest?
anything I've heard on the radio basically, or anything like that past Meteor was, or I shouldn't say Meteor, the album after Meteor, I haven't liked, so I haven't dug into them too much after that. But anyway, but yeah, that doesn't mean that I want them to cater to my taste necessarily, because if they do, like, if the artist is,
You wouldn't want an artist to put out something you like.
yeah, because if the artist, well, I shouldn't say that.
Yeah,
And
let's
not for that,
listen
not
to that
that
what that
being the
question
sole
was.
purpose. Not that being the sole purpose. Like, not I don't think I want the artist to solely put out music that I like because I like it. I want it to be because they like it. Because if it's not for them liking it, they're trying to judge how good it sounds based off of my taste, which they don't have. Like, so,
But if
and
the end
then
result is you like it, what's the difference?
if the end result is I like it, that's fine, but that doesn't mean that that doesn't mean that that's a healthy or a the ideal path for artists overall to to put out music solely for the purpose of the audience liking it. Like,
would you not support it?
I would listen to the album, I would like it, but again, we're talking about whether that is the path that an artist should take, and whether that is the um well, I mean, I kind of like whether that's the definition of art in general, like a person catering to the um the kind of whims of their audience versus uh documenting something personal to themselves. I do think it's the latter.
Fair enough. So I don't want to like get too argumentative already, but just to be clear, you would be more accepting of a world in which an artist is fully making art that they deem to be what they want, and you not like it, opposed to them being more catering to the audience, and you do like it.
Yes, I think so. Because I think overall that would produce more of a variety of art in general, and also um uh whatever music or media, movies, whatever, that are actually meaningful to the people that make it, instead of just um a commercial, an effort to make money for that purpose, to make money.
I feel as if Wes is gonna say similar points, so I don't want to get into this complete argumentative mode. But some of those things are just kind of like I can already see myself pushing back on. But what about you, CJ? What do you think of how he broke it down about how artists should look at their art? Should it be like more so, or even solely based on what they want to put out, or should they take in consideration what the audience wants as well?
Well, I do want to reference. Look at how the state of movies are these days. Like, cinematically, we have killer action-packed movies and stuff. But look at the diversity that we have though these days. Like, they're only necessarily putting out quote unquote box office movies. You know what I'm saying? Like, what happened to like Jim Carrey movies, and like, not necessarily big budget movies, but they still ended up becoming gems.
Yeah, mid budget.
Off of the release, you never expected but it became home classics. Home Alone, movies like that. Didn't, but I say that just to say, as an artist, yeah, I agree with Rick Rubin what he was saying. Like, you have to kind of, just reach within. You know what I'm saying? Like
Even
like I
looking
was,
at it,
you know,
even looking at it
complimenting.
from the perspective of a consumer about what you would generally like.
Yeah. As far as like I believe what he said. As far as he's saying, if you're pandering to the audience, then you're more of you're doing it on a consumer level. That's not
No, I'm
necessarily art. You're
saying
just
from your perspective as a consumer, you agree with the
as a
sentiment.
consumer,
Yeah, you look at the
as a
sentiment and say, I'm fully on board with it.
yeah, I'm fully definitely. I mean, that's how I can get on Spotify and look at the diversity of music. I'm looking for something new. I'm, I'm open. I'm optimistic. I want to know what's out here. That's the
Are you guys really looking for
gem. That's the
something?
gem of the world.
Are you guys really looking for
Everybody's not
something
thinking the
that's
same thing.
new? Or are you looking for something that is going to be aligned with your taste? And obviously, your
No, it's
taste.
abstract. It's abstract. You don't. It doesn't have to be necessarily. I'm looking for something that's going to agree with me necessarily when I'm looking for art or movies or music, whatever games. I'm optimistic. I'm looking. That's the point of art. You're not really looking at a
But what if you
bottom line.
what if you find it and you don't like it?
That's art. You don't. You don't really have to like art necessarily. Like you might hate a movie and then you might grow on you.
It sounded like some hippie stuff. I don't know about this. You don't have to like the art that you're consuming.
How much stuff do you watch on TV that you don't like? How many advertisements did you end up, hey, that's catchy or something, but it was a waste of your time listening to it still, like art is everywhere. I can't really put a finger on it.
If I consume something I don't like it, I'm not gonna give credit to the artist. Hey, you did it. You did what you were supposed to do. As a consumer, you want things that is going to appeal to your taste.
Yeah, but as a consumer, you're not paying for everything. That you're consuming.
Well, in the sense that of something that you are being supported of.
Okay. Yeah. Like I said, I think when you're looking at art, there's no definition as far as like what I'm trying to take in. You're walking in there, and you're just seeing different people's perspective, and then you're like, hey, you either like it or not.
I don't think you guys are fully selling me. All right, Wes, have you fully loaded? Have you fully loaded up, or you need some more time to think?
I'm gonna just speak as it comes. But so I agree with him, and I'll also say and there's several levels on which it makes sense, and there's one counterpoint that I'm gonna try to address, probably toward the end.
Let's keep it concise, though.
Yeah, no. I agree with him. You shouldn't make art based on what you perceive other people will like. And one reason is because
what if you have a good indication based off your previous art? Like, what if you put out 2 albums? One they heavily gravitated to, and one they didn't.
I'll address that in a second. But the first thing is the audience doesn't necessarily know what they want. They're not the musician, or they're not the artist in the field necessarily. I mean, they might be.
That's a big necessarily.
Hold on. For a lot of consumers, the first time you heard your favorite artist, did you know you needed or wanted a sound exactly like that? Or
a lot of the times,
I don't know if I'm or we're bad examples, but
I won't say. Hold on, I won't say your favorite artist, but an early favorite artist. I mean, especially like in a genre that you might not have delved into yet. When you discover the new form of art, or the new genre that you're into, you didn't know what that was. You didn't know.
That's fair.
And so, yeah. So, if you told them what you wanted, you would get X, but you really resonated more with Y but you had no idea what Y was. And so,
this is applicable for a wholly new experience. So I'm rocking so far.
Yeah. So if you take that to an individual artist level, when an artist tries something new because that's what they're inspired to do, it can go the same way, especially if it's a dramatic turn from what they've done in the past, or whatever it may be. If that artist is being genuine, that may happen because they're influenced by certain things, or they've lived life more, or that may very well happen, that it's a dramatic turn from the past, and it's something that either the same audience resonates with or a different audience resonates with, but it's true to that artist's life and their experience. And so it makes sense on that level. It makes sense, and then it makes sense, like CJ said, and I think everybody's saying it, but as far as the variety of music that's out there, if we were to boil it down and everybody just said, this is what I want, this is what I want, this is what I want, it would all become very homogenous,
Sterile.
because sterile. Yeah, it would be the same, because at a certain level, the less music you listen to. So let's say the next generation comes up and they only listen to the stuff that the previous generation told everybody they liked, and whatever, and it goes on, and at a younger and younger age, you're getting exposed to the same stuff. The mind resonates with certain sonic resolutions, certain chord progressions very well, and it takes sometimes a little bit of a challenge to hear dissonance, to hear different extensions on chords and things like that, and to enjoy them. And so you'd end up with these 1-4-5 just regular chords, super common chord progressions, and all the music would start to sound the same. Like, it would be super generic, super basic, and yeah, it's satisfying on a...
That is somewhat of a valid argument. You do need experimentation and doing what you're inspired to do in order to get new, so we would get stale.
Yeah, people don't naturally like, especially in a Western culture and the nature of our music, we don't necessarily like to hear dissonant notes, but we've gotten used to rock had to come up, and introduce distortion and all kind of crazy sounds that people were not used to at all, and it made variety of music. And so if people weren't doing things that they felt they should, or compelled to do based on their life and their experience, then you would have a lot less. So from that standpoint, I definitely agree that the artists
That's a really good leg to stand on.
Do for themselves. And then I think, from the consumer level, as a consumer of music, and maybe it's because we are spoiled with the selection of music that we have. It doesn't trouble me at all if I don't like an artist I like's next project. There's too much music and too much to listen to. Like, I'm okay. It's not a good thing.
I don't think you would be in a more positive place if an artist that you do enjoy puts out content that you don't enjoy. Just because you have others to consume, if you really like an artist and you're really supportive of an artist and they put out something you don't like,
but it's not even gonna affect my day. Like,
if you spend time listening to it,
what? I'll check it out, and I'm like, it's not.
You're telling me that if an artist that you love, one of your favorite artists, has an album that you've been looking forward to for weeks, months, for forever, and they drop an album and it's trash, you're not gonna care?
And you listen to it. I don't know what you mean by check it out. I'm saying you spent the time to listen to it.
That doesn't bother me.
That's not convincing.
No, I realize that y'all are fundamentally different in the way you consume music than me. I realized this a long time ago. Like, it doesn't really bother me.
Okay, well, if you really want to say you're abnormal, if you really want to say you're abnormal, you do acknowledge that the average person, if they listen to a project and they don't like it, they're not going to be like, oh well, I guess no worries, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's gonna be a thing of contention.
The last time I felt a way, and it wasn't even a long time, but the last time I felt a way about somebody releasing something, I think it was Lasers. But it didn't
Show
bother.
goes on.
It doesn't bother me. I think that might be one of the.
You
I
weren't
might have spent
bothered
the most
listening to
time-
it.
No, I might have spent the most time caring about that, but everything past that, I was like, I don't know. My mindset shifted, and it's because there is so much to listen to. Plus, the stuff that I enjoy still exists. So, what am I tripping about? Like, they're doing what they do. Like, Shabazz Palace has lost me for a while. Like, but they're doing what they did. Like, that's fine. Like, I don't know. Like, it's fine to me. But then to address the audience thing though, a counterpoint is that live music tends to favor the audience and appreciate the audience the most in the moment anyway, in the experience in the moment. And I'll say like a DJ definitely needs to cater to his audience, but and literally in real time notice the vibe and try to keep it going. But a live musician, like a jazz musician, also has to pay attention to the audience, and I don't know if it is necessarily give them what they want. There's a level to it, because you recognize the crowd, you listen for the cheers, the clapping, and you respond to that. And I guess people could also, if people are booing too, you can try to counter, give them some more intrigue, or if they're silent, like you.
Yeah, exactly.
There is a level
If you're
of
an artist and you're performing a new song or whatever, and then the crowd starts booing, are you telling me you're going to keep playing their song, or are you going to go back to something else? What's they were cheering about?
That's what I'm saying. Like, there is a level of appreciating, and when you're presenting music in a live setting, you do have to consider the audience. But it's still within the form of the choices you made as far as what you're playing, as far as what songs you're playing, as far as what you're going to do. Let's say you're a jazz combo and everybody likes a particular standard that you hate, and when you go to the city they're going to want you to play it. You have to make that decision whether you want to do it or not, and whether it will affect the output of the musicians in that night, as far as whether it will be a good musical experience for the musicians as well as for the audience. And that's a decision to make. But if you make the decision to play it because you know that you're gonna get more of an audience next time, it is most likely a money decision. So whether it's the right choice or not, it's probably more financial than artistic. So I mean, that's pretty much where I'm coming from. And I think, yeah, the counterpoint is, I think the biggest counterpoint that I see is live music. And even if you bomb a song on a song that you just created, and people don't like it in a live setting, it's still a financial decision to say, no, we're going to change up because we want to make sure that we retain our audience and that we can have a career in this. It's not necessarily a decision that's based on your artistic vision, for better or for worse, anyway.
This is kind of one of those situations where I'm kind of wondering whether I'm playing too much into devil's advocate, or if I do have some level of disagreement with this premise. I guess what are your thoughts, Ghost? What do you think about like this conversation of artists making art totally based off what they want, or should they have some level of consideration for their audience?
Well, I think it has a very valid point. I don't necessarily agree with it. I think the most important thing, more so than making music just for yourself, is having artistic integrity, and that definition is what you should stay true to. And your idea of artistic integrity can be what Rick Rubin's is, in that he makes music for himself and doesn't let the audience, their reactions, their input affect the outcome. But there could be some artists, like just branching outside of music for a second. Like the first thing that came to my mind when thinking of a counterpoint is like video games. Like if you make a game, I still consider that an artistic process, even though it's a lot less
I do too.
linear than like music or less standard. If you make a game and your player base, they have comments, they have feedback, they have, and I'm not even talking about like just bug fixes, like just gameplay loops. How can we make this better? How can we make the game more enjoyable? How can we add features that we didn't think about, but the player base did and would improve our game? I think if you take that stance, then you might be of the mindset that when you make something, one of the biggest things you focus on is external input. So I think it varies from situation to situation, but the most important thing is staying true to that and not like I do agree with him when he says it shouldn't be about commerce. Like that should not be the primary driving decision behind making art, because it turns from art into something less, I don't want to say pure, but it just turns into like something surface level that you don't care about the outcome, you just want the money. And that's not what art should be, and that's where I do agree with him. But how you get to that point, I think, is where you can change up from this hard stance, and there's some malleability.
Yeah, I tend to lean where you're leaning. I think most people would agree that if an artist is solely focused, and he said it, he probably said it the best. If you're solely focused on just like what somebody else wants, it's not, it's almost like not art, it's commerce, or it's just like you're putting out a specific transaction. Like I guess maybe if you made a song specifically for somebody at their request, and maybe you would take in consideration for what they want, but making art that you want should be at the forefront of like what you put out. And I think about this, we've been talking about different examples, games, movies, even just streamers, like that, like when they're doing podcasts or when they're doing their stream, like sometimes they'll tend to find that even they have a back and forth with their community about like, hey, if I just stream exactly what you guys want, well, maybe I will get more viewers, or maybe we'll get more revenue from that. But at a certain point in time, if I'm not enjoying it and I'm not playing the things I want, or if I'm not speaking on things I want, you might want to just go to somebody else, because you're not really getting the thing that I want to be producing. And that is a point that I've heard time and time again, and I do largely agree with that. I just think if to say that there's no balance, and maybe if you were to try to put it in percentage, maybe like, 85%, 90% what I want, and then maybe 10%, 5% what the audience wants, that would kind of make more sense to me than opposed to saying, and I guess he's saying the audience comes last, so maybe there is room for a percentage to take in consideration of what the audience wants.
Yeah. And I think like there's room for a kind of collaboration with your audience, just like in format, in even in developing a certain amount of inspiration for your next project or things like this. Like there is room to make that interaction valuable, but I think it has to be on the part of the artist. It has to be deliberate, and it has to be from the right place. Like it can't just be the audience resonates with this, so I'm gonna just kind of go full throttle on that, and because I know I'm gonna get their dollars. Like that's commerce. That's what makes it commerce. But I think there is room for a type of collaboration, but it has to feel right. Like it has to resonate with you. Like there's a certain sense that like when you create something and it resonates with you, there's a sense, I don't know, like it's almost like a sense of wonder, or there's a certain sense that you get from something that you make and you're proud of, and you know that it was created with a certain amount of integrity.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're making something to just make the money, you're not gonna feel that. Like you're not necessarily gonna have that, and it's not lost on the audience either. Like there's something that they can connect to that says, especially like let's say something, to put it in more concrete terms, if you're writing a book, or if you're writing something and you're adding character details, and or even if it's a book about your life, like it might be something that people literally resonate with the words of, but if you embellished in ways that you thought might make it better, then the truth of it may not come through.
Mm-hmm.
Or or even if it's fiction, like if you made changes that you thought would play because of the social environment of the country, or you add a plot point that is literally just to pander to a certain ideology that doesn't really come from a place where you're like, this is what the story needs, then the audience will recognize it, whether it's tangible or not. And and I mean, and even thinking about it, like, from the point of being spiritual, like if you make things, let's say you're making things with the goal of wanting to honor God with that piece of art, or in a way, it's not necessarily selfish, because you're deferring to something else other than yourself, but it still has to do with the feeling that you get when you create that thing, and whether it has that integrity or not. But you can defer and say, I'm not making this for myself, or I'm not being selfish in this endeavor.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm still not pandering to anything, or it's in that sense. Or if I wanted to make music that is spiritual, or whatever, I'm not necessarily going to make gospel because I know that people like gospel, or I'm not going to cater to a certain sound because I know that that's what sells. It plays on a lot of levels.
I guess similar to that, not similar, but kind of like going based off this point, and I guess it's relative to the last question. Do you think, this is more applicable to one specific genre, but do you think with some art that has such an emphasis on like gaining wealth, like it's very embedded in the music, I'm rich, I got rich off rap, things like that, do you think music and art that's so embedded with the mindset of doing it for the purpose of wealth gaining, do you think in that sense it would make sense to more cater to like a certain thing that the audience want, or you think at no matter what level, art should largely be based off what the artist wants to put out? Because the thing I've been kind of thinking in the back of my mind is that this is all very applicable to artists that's very like in tune with their art, and they want to put out what they want to put out. When in reality, you're not considering artists that they do more so subscribe to the whims of what's going to get them the dollar.
I'll say this: I think there exist and have existed artists who literally wanted the money and the fame.
They want to put out their art for reward.
Yeah, but because, and I'm going to say, I don't think the percentage is high just because of the saturation that exists now. But I think there are people who wanted the money, and because they had artistic talent, and because they could tap into what they liked and what they wanted to hear, and it did resonate, they were able to be successful. But I don't think it necessarily means that because they focused on the money, they ended up being good in any way. Like I don't think that necessarily lines up that way. Like they're wanting the money led to the good results. I think it was they had something in them to be good, and a way to do something in a way that was probably in a way new, and they also succeeded at it in spite of their desire to just get rich. Like, because I think a lot of early rappers or I didn't say early, but even like mid '90s rappers and things like that who were really good might have started because they wanted the money, they wanted to get out of the hood, whatever.
They might have seen some others achieve success in this field, and they also they felt they possessed the talent to do it as well.
Yeah. But I think there had to be some level of internal sense of like this sound good, like this makes sense, this works well together to me. They gave most people gave people something new, like, and it wasn't necessarily exactly what the people wanted to hear because they didn't know they hadn't heard it yet. Like,
yeah,
so there has to be some level of a personal touch.
Yeah, and I already said it before. You guys brought up an excellent point about how if artists did purely go based off what people wanted, we wouldn't be progression in terms of music. So yeah, I mean, ultimately, salute to Rick Ruben. Salute to y'all again. I still think it's a percentage, pie basis type of deal. But to say, just as a general statement, an artist should focus on putting out the art that they want. I think you will get people to agree with that. So yeah, salute to Rick Ruben again. Damn, we're at 2:40. I don't want to. Yeah, that's bad. Thank you. That I like when the producer says it, or the person that's acting on the producer says, so I don't gotta say it. Yeah, because it would take a little while. Every year we do a Spotify wrap up. You just go over our y'all Spotify data. I'm like the only human on earth that doesn't use any streaming services. And I have planned to do it today, but we might move that to another time. So before the end of the year, but another time, just to the sake of brevity. Or brevity, that's the right word? Time. Anyway. So I think that's the last top and general topic. So if there's nothing else, does anyone have anything to get off their heart, anything to get off their chest, anything that they want to walk back, maybe apologize for, or maybe stand on business on? We actually do have one quick rest in power we got to give. Pull that up, Ace. Man,
this guy.
Unfortunate. Rip Andre. Oh man, I don't want to make Braugher. Braugher. You might know him from his role on that show Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He was definitely a dope actor on there, and I'm sure he's starred in other mediums. He was definitely dope from the roles I've seen him in. And whether or not he really knew his roles or not, it's still unfortunate. Passed at 61 years old. They say the cause is due to a battle with lung cancer. And we know that's never anything to play around with, and that's obviously incredibly unfortunate. So, we just have a rest in power. Dope actor while he was around.
Yep.
But besides that, if there's nothing else, as we like to do at the end of the podcast, on a more of a positive note, and let me get here so we don't have to look at a dead man while we're doing this. Hold on, let me do this. Background only. Yeah. I guess we'll go to ending soon. And then go back here. I'm just fixing up some stuff. Bear with me. Go here. Everything still works in order. Okay. Yes. As we like to do at the end of our podcast, on a positive note, what, if anything, are we looking forward to? You know what they say about having something to look forward to. and since we may or may not have some new individuals listening and or be on the podcast, on the positive side, they say happiness is simply having something to look forward to. People are always looking for happiness. Well, it's actually not that hard to find. And on the negative side, they say if you don't have anything to look forward to, you might as well lay down and die. So what's upcoming that y'all look forward to?
Well, I got something. And this is gonna be funny coming from me, but One Piece, as y'all have probably heard at this point, they are doing I don't want to say a reboot, but another adaptation of the One Piece manga as an anime. This one's come from Wit Studio, which, if you don't know, is one of the top 3 animation studios in the world. And essentially, what they're gonna do, my understanding, is cut down on the filler, better animation, and just more streamlined in general. And as someone that has not read a chapter of One Piece, has not seen a single episode of One Piece, this is like perfect for me, because the main reason I don't want to get into it is the insane amount of chapters and episodes, and there's a lot of filler packed into that. So I don't got to worry about that if I start a new streamlined show. So I am looking forward to that.
One, that's interesting. It's so interesting to hear, and I'll try to keep it brief. It's so interesting to hear you say that, because when I heard that news, it doesn't make any sense to me as someone that's like literally not watching so much, but like reading One Piece, like the latest and greatest, like up to date on it. And if you know anything about One Piece, it's going on so long because the author, one, deals with some health complications, which, salute to all hardworking manga authors out there. But two, there's just so many things that they want to do with the story. Like, there's so many things that they want to do with the story. Then they want to go on and make movies. They want to go on and make live action shows. They work on the manga. They work on the anime. Those two things alone take a tremendous amount of time and effort in a team. So when I heard it, I'm like, they're making a spin-off, not a spin-off, but a reboot. I'm like, how do they have the time and who's putting their attention towards this?
Yeah.
But you solved that. And who was it for? Because if you're interested in One Piece, well, you're more interested in the story in itself getting finished, not necessarily them doing, that's something you do after the fact. But you just answered the question of who it's for, why they would be doing something like this to make it more streamlined, to make it more digestible. So yeah, this could be, and it'll probably have like modern day art and graphics technology or whatever. So yeah, that makes 100% sense to me. I myself, at the end of the year, it kind of largely boils down to being able to take a break from work and focus on other things. This is some real sap shit. So I don't really want to even say it, but it is cool to be spending time with Wes again. Not that I really care. He could have went off in Africa, and I could have never seen him again. I don't really care, but he is here, so it's I do look forward to spending a little time. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm in town for a little while, so spending time with the family and stuff is gonna be, plus travel plans, so all that wrapped up. So I got some irons in the fire regarding life and work situation. So these things are positive overall. So
yeah. How about you, Ace?
I don't know. I saw there's this new Civil War movie coming out next year.
I think I saw that too.
Yeah, it's being made by a director that I like, Alex Garland. He directed Ex Machina, Annihilation, and something else. But yeah, this one is like just straight up. It seems to be like how would you describe it? Like an alternative future or something like that. But very possible future where there's a civil war in America. And yeah, just if you watch the trailer,
Progressives
like
versus the conservatives.
I don't even know if it could necessarily be considered that because I don't know what
I'm just talking. I don't know what the
they're gonna
plot is
do
going.
it. Yeah, in terms of politics, um, but yeah, if you watch the trailer, it just looks like it's gonna be a great, I don't know, like thriller type, action type movie, but just very well made. So I might have to see. But yeah, it's 2024, so I think spring or something.
I mean, next year's right around the corner, literally. And then last but not least, I think it's been on mute for a little bit. You still with us, EJ? Me taking a break because this podcast is not fun after a while.
Yeah.
Damn, you sound like Future in the studio.
I'm on the way to work right now. Mess up, the background noise or anything. So
Oh,
I'll
got
just,
you.
listen to everybody. But yeah. But looking forward to. I don't want to mess up anybody's vibe here, but I'm hoping House of Dragons finally drops, this upcoming year. I can't tell anymore. Every time they drop release dates for anything, it's like 2 years ahead of time, which makes no sense. Because I don't want to hold my breath for 2 years, on a TV show or a game or anything. Just tell me 6 months before or something. But, yeah, man, I'm looking forward, that, it's not a lot of TV shows that catch me like they used to. So, I'm just looking forward to a nice, diverse, upcoming couple of years. I feel like the Marvel scene has fell off. I don't, really care to hear anybody's opinion on that because that's my straight up opinion. And, yeah, these writers and everybody's actors, everybody's off a strike. So yeah, let's get things rolling again. You know what I'm saying? Like
That's what I like to
complaining
hear.
earlier.
Get back to work.
Anime. Yeah, anime. They've been taking a while. My boy Quest, he been saying, hey, have a heart because they are preoccupied and health issues with some of our authors and stuff. That's why they have a team. So come on, let's get back to work, everybody. It's not COVID anymore. Let's get these things rolling. We got audiences out here, and I'm ready. So I'm excited for all of that stuff. And I'm excited for good health amongst myself and all of us. Because I love hearing from y'all. You know what I'm saying? And this was good. This was good.
Man, if that ain't a send off, I don't know what is.
This was healthy.
No, we appreciate that. And again, my apologies. I obviously want to be respectful of everyone's time. When you get 4 or 5 stoners talking, it can take a while. But and we'll let you go because
Hey, look, it's all good. That's how it is when brethren get around, man. You know what I'm saying? Can't stop time, bro. You know what I'm saying? So all good.
Not at all. But man. Before we do sign you off, again, super appreciative for taking the time. I speak for myself and everyone here. You thought I was gonna throw that in. You definitely add a lot of value to this, and it's kind of funny. I make this joke about like people being podcast ready. The joke being who's to say we ourselves would be ready for a professional podcast, but like you came on here and super natural, and I think that's because we have the relationship that we do. But yeah, it all flowed super well.
Yeah, I hopped right in the family, you know what I'm saying? So it was all good, easy. But I appreciate the love, y'all, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, y'all just, y'all keep doing what y'all doing. Love y'all, man. And I hope y'all, keep taking care of yourselves and everybody around y'all.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, love
but
you.
All right, man.
And we'll hear from you soon.
Heck yeah, signing off, bro.
Man, take it easy. Be safe, bro.
Later.
Peace.
Peace.
Oh man, that messed up the thing. Well, anyway, we're about to sign off, so I can, I'm going to this screen. A few good men. Man, salute to y'all. Salute to CJ. podcasting is fun, but it is a lot of a time investment. You turn around and you spend 3 hours just talking, and you spend an hour and change doing the setup, which we'll get better at, but it's whatever. But I'm appreciative, CJ. I'm appreciative of y'all for coming out here and doing this podcast thing. And it was on an off day. We usually record on Saturday evenings. So we take up basically our entire Sunday day. But it's all good. This was just not one-off thing, but sometimes we gotta switch it up a bit. And we give major thanks to any and all listeners, any and all who might have just stopped through for a second and cared to listen to us. We super appreciate y'all. And any feedback or any topics that would be worth going over, any input that y'all could have at all that you would want to hear, or improvements or anything, please let us know. And we hope that by listening to our podcast that you might have gained a new perspective, or you might have learned something new. Like the fact that, just because you're in a Senate seat, it doesn't mean you can talk crap about somebody, because if you catch the right one on the wrong day, they will approach you. Or we just hope that you found us entertaining. And if none of that happened, then all we have to say to you is be warned and be filled. Thank you. Oh, Lordy. So yeah, I'm gonna stop recording unless there's anything that I forgot. Yeah, I'm gonna stop. Okay, and yeah, I guess signing off on the stream as well. I think that was successful, right? Did we do anything wrong?
I think so.
Okay, nice.